Hello.
That was so loud. Not you, my music. Hi guys, welcome to stream. It is Wednesday, August 5th, 7:37. My name is Joe Von Bradley. I'm a fat black leftist. And if this is your first time joining me, hello, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. This is your second time joining me. I'm glad I was able to get you to come back. This is your third time joining me. Get a fucking hobby. I'm not that important. Today I have a special guest with me. Special guest, why not introduce yourself to the community?
Hello, my name is MamaMephistopheles. I am a bisexual, transgender, atheist, demonic leftist. I have the most adjectives, which means that I win. I do a little bit of debate streaming myself. I do some activism for trans rights in Texas, and I run a little activist group called the 6W Project with a few friends. We do some protests and we make Republicans' lives suck.
So I realized that your pronouns aren't showing up on your thing because of how much is there. Let me try to add them.
Oh, my apologies.
No. You just have a long name. That's not on anybody but the system.
But me, yes.
Are your pronouns are just she, her also for the audience?
Yeah, I'm basic like that.
That's all right. We all are a little basic sometimes. All right, chat. We're here to debate. We're here to talk to conservatives, to bigots of all kind. So if you want to chat with us, why don't you pick up the phone? 219-327-8005. That number again, 219-327-8005. Shout out to the crew. William Mates, thank you for the super chat. I has a sandwich, pepperoni and salami with cheddar on sourdough. Okay, I got water. That's
I am caffeinating. What stage of caffeine addiction is it when you're buying the 15 packs off the internet?
Late stage caffeine addiction.
Oof. Well, enjoy my content while I'm still alive, folks.
If you're watching on the there's 3 streams right now you can be watching us. You might be watching on TikTok or Twitch. TikTok. Ugh. Gross. You might be watching on Twitch. You might be watching on the YouTube vertical, and you might be watching on the YouTube horizontal. So all 3 of those now exist, but the stream I need you guys to go in and click the like button on is the YouTube vertical. I need you to get into the YouTube vertical and click that like button. Right now, if you send a super chat, I'm really only gonna see it if you're on the vertical stream. So don't do that yet, but I did set a goal. If we get 10 super chats of $10 or more, we're gonna do a post show in the Discord. A post show. So you'll get like a 30-minute wrap up, and then I'll try to post that post show as like bonus content for YouTube members. So if you want to do a post show, join us for the post show. Is that the wrong thumbnail? Sure as fuck is on the horizontal. Hold on. Whoopsie. Whoopsie doopsie. By the way, guys, we
live on TikTok. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead. Go ahead. It's fine.
Oh no, I just wanted to say, as someone who does go live on TikTok, I agree with you. People are crazy there.
TikTok's the worst. Squad, if you're playing bingo, I see 16 of you playing bingo right now. I will allow, oh my God, I just popped this off. Wait a minute.
Dang.
Have I hit
Stream's
this
just
on
started
wrong
and it's
the
already
whole time?
popping off.
I have to unplug my mic real quick. So Mephi, you're up. You talk.
All right, folks. We're going to be yapping while I have the microphone. We're going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons. Everybody knows that if you play D&D, then it's automatically going to be super gay. The only thing that doesn't exist in the world of D&D is heterosexuals. There are no cisgender heterosexuals in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons, and if you disagree, I'm sorry, you're wrong. You just are. Pathfinder 2e. I have not played Pathfinder 2e, but
testing.
Love me the tabletop.
2, 2, 3, 4.
I hear you.
Great. 32 of you are playing bingo right now. JovanBradley.com/bingo. If you do have the surprise co-host on your bingo board, you can go ahead and check that for Mephi being here. We're gonna count that as a bingo square. So we'll see if we can't get a new bingo running today. A new champion. William Mates, thank you for the other super chat. I'm fat, poor, disabled, queer, NB, trans, femme, autistic, nerdy, atheist person. I win. Also, I missed that second part. It'll come back around. Let's go over our topics today. By the way, if you want to debate us, 219-327-8005. That number again, 219-327-8005 is the number. We have 7 topics. They might change while I'm sitting here as I decide if I like these topics or not. We have trans men and women are men and women. Trans kids deserve gender affirming care. Capitalism is unethical as fuck. I might put an AF after that. MAGA is a fascist movement. That's the one I might get rid of today. We'll find out. Christianity is false. Abortion, all 9 months. And a question at the end of that. Why should we vote Republican? Midterms are coming up. By the way, shout out to all the DSA candidates who are actually winning their primaries. Because damn,
although he's not DSA, but still,
APAC is fucking pissing themselves right now. By the way, which is amazing.
Oh yeah.
So you guys can call in 219-327-8005 is the number. Pick that phone up. I assume like every show, we really won't get a call in the first like hour or so, but office hours is free and available. So if you want to call in just to ask us a question, please call in for an office hours. Pillow is on deck screening, so he'll screen you, get you through. Behold Network, thank you for the super chat. Big W for Abdul last night, hoping for a W for Francesca Hong. In my state, Wisconsin, Republicans are doing ballot purges and ballot spoiling, so we need to show TF up. I agree. Oh. That's also 3 of our 10 super chats needed in order to get a post show. So you guys might get a post show today. Schedule for this week. Tomorrow is another normal show, and then Line has a podcast in the evening. Friday is a fun gonna be a fun Friday stream where we're gonna game. I think I'm gonna play that new voice acting game that came out where you can put your voice onto scenes. I think we're gonna do that. That seems fun. And then Friday night is movie night in the Discord. We're gonna watch Backrooms. So if you're not a part of the Discord, might be a reason to join it. You know, might be a reason, guys.
I like it in here.
What is this telling me? Okay. Just do that for me. All right, we're waiting on calls. We got some people calling in right now to screen. You can call in, guys. We're gonna have a nice, friendly discussion. I just want some conservatives, some capitalists, some Christians. Call in for a friendly chat. I promise you, there will be no anger, no resentment, potentially. It just depends on what you could tell me. So call in, and let's try to get some good old callers into the call queue.
Yeah,
hey,
where are
over
the
on
strongest warriors of God? Where
they
are
don't
they?
exist. God having strong warriors, hilarious. Yeah, have your MAGA uncles call us. If your dad is a conservative, please have him call me. I want to talk to conservative papas. Papa, can you hear me? I can't. It would be so beautiful to have your conservative dad pick up the phone.
They've got like a few months to go until Thanksgiving. They've got to be chomping at the bit, right? So starved for family gatherings to yell at their nieces and nephews.
Trying to see if I can now get both my YouTubes to show up on my thing so I can see both chats. But so far, nothing.
I just been switching between 2 tabs, but you've got way nicer setup than me. All my stuff is very much graphic design is my passion.
Graphic design is my passion. Oh, it's put the second chat as a second chat? Okay, no.
I think I know that song.
You heard it before?
Oh yeah, it goes like,
My favorite part is when it goes
uh-huh.
wah ah ah ah. That's my
Oh wow.
my jam. Unknown Rocketeer, thank you for the super chat. Said another one. And another one. Thank you
And
for the super
another one.
chat. You guys really want to earn this this post show, don't you? We could
Damn.
hang out in a
Y'all are
post show.
excited for a post show with me.
Post show might be Jackbox. It might be us just hanging out. It might be watching a YouTube. Who knows what the post show could be? But you're gonna start getting post shows when I have guests. Don't expect post shows when I'm by myself. Don't expect them. They're not gonna happen ever. But when we have guests on the show, it might be fun to do a little posty post, you know, post up. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You know what I'm saying. Okay. We get the call coming in. Uh 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 interesting. Okay. We'll take that call in a second. Let's try to get guys in the chat. Start saying some, you know, you gotta be offensive to the conservatives. What are you gonna say to like, hey, conservatives, you guys, this guy is a pedo.
Oh no, they don't find that offensive. They love that about him.
True. Could it be because conservatives also want to fuck kids?
You gotta wonder. I did you see that thing where, well, who was it? I think it was like Larkin was on Fox News, and they're like, how many deaths from immigrants or how many children killed by immigrants is okay? And he was just like, your guy's a pedo.
But also
They
seven
shuffled him off
seven
so
deaths from
fast.
immigrants. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Mhm.
Seven
I've
is
never
okay.
seen instant regret on a Fox News' faced host so quickly. It is, oh, it's magical.
Why is the caller's name not coming through? That's very interesting. You know what I have to do? I have to put you on the staff site so you can actually see the callers. I will do that in a second. I guess we'll take this office hours call. Coming up to stream. Wait, let me start that. Coming up to stream is Junie. Junie is calling from Nebraska to ask an office hours question. Junie, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
33, and she, it.
Okay, 33, she, it. Awesome. Junie, what is your question?
Yeah, so I was watching the other day and I heard you discussing like indigenous peoples and in a communist state, the concept of like giving land back to the indigenous peoples. And I guess I don't quite understand how that fits in, because my understanding was like it would be like a full societal integration, and land is not necessarily owned by anyone, rather taken care of by anyone, like, and everyone. So I didn't quite understand what you meant by that, and I was hoping you could kind of elaborate on what that looks like.
Yeah, when we talk about land back, it's just that they would have like primarily stewardship rights over the land. Not as much that they like that we would go like if we were to go back to like broken treaties, they wouldn't have like ownership of the land per se. They would just get like sort of stewardship rights. So like, you know, if we're getting farmland, you know, they would have stewardship rights over like where the farmland is placed and things like that. But they wouldn't have direct ownership, and it would still need to be democratic by nature.
Okay, so I guess when you say stewardship but still democratic by nature, how do those go hand in hand? Because my understanding is like the stewardship is almost like hierarchical, like they are like responsible as a primary. Can you kind of explain?
Well, they would
Yeah,
be.
Oh, go ahead.
They would need
Maybe.
to. Yeah, they would need to make these decisions about the land democratically. You know, there wouldn't be any singular person or singular control structure about it. There would just be people coming together and making decisions as a community. I think a good framework for a lot of these ideas about sort of giving the freedom back here is that it's not about putting power in a new place, it's about relinquishing power altogether in many ways.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, it would be like it's not necessarily that the land is inherently divided and owned by someone. It's there's no borders or anything, but the lands that were taken originally from the indigenous people, those communities would be the ones democratically deciding what to do with those pieces of land. Is that correct?
Yeah, they would have things like, because right now when you have private property, there are some things that are granted to you over your land, right? You're granted the right to occupy the land and you're granted the right to exclude others. They wouldn't be granted the right to exclude others from the land, but they would have they'd be granted, the rights to occupy the land, the rights to govern what happens to the land. They wouldn't be given the right to profit from the land, and they wouldn't be given the right to like sell, mortgage, or like lease the land and things like that. But they would be given like, occupancy rights as well as governorship rights.
And how is that determined in the sense that like wouldn't indigenous people be responsible for all most of the land as like Europeans and stuff just kind of came and took it over? So I guess I don't understand
Well,
how those
the
divisions.
only way, because of like, in practically, right, because of like record keeping, the
Right.
only thing we would be able to do is go back to the treaties that we had on paper and say we're going to give you back what was broken from in these treaties. Right. That's the only because anybody could lay claim to any of the land from any tribe. So in my opinion, and some indigenous people might not even like that answer, but in my opinion, the only way to do it would be treaty-based restoration.
Okay, because I guess my thought process, like when I'm thinking of it from a practical sense, well, I do understand that harm was done to the indigenous people, and like I agree with reparations, I guess. I don't know how it has place in like a communist society. In my head, stewardship would be like democratically chosen and assigned to communities in locations. Is that just like a differing in opinion in the sense like what is the benefit or reasoning for one over the other?
Well, part of it's
As
a corrective thing. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Part of it's a corrective. Okay, yeah. Part of it's a corrective thing where these communities that have been forced off of this land will essentially. The idea is you help them return to the lands that were stolen from them in these when the colonists broke those treaties and stole that land. You would help them get back to where they're at, and once once things have been sort of brought up to equity, right? At that point, you're dealing with a singular, democratically run sort of overall place.
So when you say get them back to where they have, what would you kind of understand that or explain that to be? I know Jovan mentioned like our historical documentation and stuff, but I guess in my head, like there's maybe not all those indigenous people want to be there. Obviously, if there's more land, left after they've chosen whether or not they want to occupy it, it may be more beneficial to like have people in those communities. So I guess like when I described like having like a democratic election to who is in or stewardship of each property, would you agree that we would still utilize the land to the fullest extent in the sense that perhaps the indigenous people would have the primary, like the priority in those locations, and then we would, I don't know, divide like equally or democratically, like voting and what have you, for who is like I guess next
It's
in line to occupy those
potentially, but
places.
one of the things is as somebody who's not indigenous,
Okay,
we would have to
I'm
like
not
it would.
either, so I'm just sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. We would have to come up with these policies and plans with indigenous tribes. So I can say
Right.
I think this might be the most fair to do, but like I have to take into account what the tribes want. Not every tribe, not every indigenous nation is going to want the same thing. I said tribe. I don't think they actually like to use the phrase tribe. I think they prefer nations. So not every indigenous nation wants the exact same format. So like and there is a practicality or practicality. There's also a hurdle here where we have to also correct these historical injustices that have happened, but protect current people that live on that land who aren't there because they stole anything, right? They're there because they were brought, they either their family was brought there or whatever. So you run into these like just tough conversations that have to be had, but not impossible conversations that have to be had. There are also groups of indigenous people who don't want to be communists. They don't like communism. They think communism is like a colonial framework. I disagree with this, but you know, that's neither here nor there. So there's just a few way to do this. So it's a much larger conversation. I can try to find some reading material on this specifically, but I don't know of any off the top of my head.
No, that makes sense. I guess the only, and I apologize for so many hypotheticals, I'll just do one other piece. I guess the only concern I would have is for those communities that either, you know, don't believe in communism, or perhaps there's some, let's just say a smaller community that is in our ways or our view entitled to a large amount of land. I feel like we would then inherently possibly be harming the individuals, like the other individuals that don't inherently have a right to that land. Is that what you were kind of referencing when you said we'd have to figure out a way to still protect the people that are already inhabiting it?
Yeah. And again, I don't want to protect their private property rights, but I do think those people, like most people who live on previously occupied indigenous nation land, they're not there because they chose to be. They're there because they were born there. Right. And so there becomes a much larger conversation that we have to have. But you know, I'm not the person at the forefront who should be having that. I do think actually when I go to the socialism conference this year, I think there are indigenous workshops. So I might be able to actually get some information on that when I'm there.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. That helps tremendously. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions you got, Junie?
No, we're good to go. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You have a good rest of your day.
And I don't know what things are like in wherever you're calling from, but if you're ever looking to talk to the folks in your area who are going to know the specifics about land back issues and things like that in the state that you're living in, definitely check out your local leftist bookstores because you're going to find those folks there.
W to Junie. We have some other calls screening that I'm genuinely worried might be you guys might be you know who calls every day, but we'll find out. Pillow is currently screening right now, so we will see. Yes, obviously, Martine, we're gonna find out. I just know that a caller called in from the UK and Pillow dropped them, and usually when there's a dropped call from the UK, you guys know where my mind goes. Give me 1 second.
You gotta love the British callers because they always, I just can't take the British seriously very well, you know? It's a very silly accent. I think that's why they focus so much on politeness, is
What?
because they have to be extremely silly while they're presenting bigotry, and it's just like, I'm sorry, I can't deal with racism from Mary Poppins.
Speaking of Britain, absolute big W. Ted Lasso is back. First episode was great. God, love Ted Lasso. So happy that show has returned. 2 calls currently screening.
A moment to dunk on the British.
I don't think I care about them that much, but that's okay, you know. Guys, if you want the post show, we got to get a couple more super chats of $10 or more. If you guys want to get that post show over in the Discord, it would be fun. We might be able to take more questions. We might be able to hang out and talk about other things, you know. So pick up the phone. We got 3 calls being screened right now, so we just get to chill while Pillow screens some calls. Oh, Nightbot catching people who are trying to drop slurs in the fucking
in the
What's
YouTube
the
chat.
in the YouTube Nightbot said, no, no, no. No, no,
Doesn't
no.
automatic filtering hit a good amount of slurs anyway?
No. Hits
No?
none of them. TBH.
Oh, dang.
Oh my god. No way.
My condolences
Okay.
to people who live in the UK, but I will not apologize.
You really don't like the UK. I can't tell if this is a bit or your true feelings. Let's bring up our next
little
call.
column A, little column B.
Coming up next is Andrew calling from Scotland to ask Mephi an office hour question. Andrew, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Hi there, I'm 34 and my pronouns are he, him.
All right, Andrew, office hours question. What do you got?
I'm phoning mainly just to try and figure out something. In my limited experience, a lot of the trans folk I've been fortunate enough to meet have been quite openly sexual, quite innuendo driven, and it's cheeky and it's fun. And I'm just wondering if, mainly it's a question to MamaMephistopheles, if this is a general thing that the trans community sort of have, or if it's just what's most likely due to my limited experience with trans folk.
Like you're talking about folks being hypersexual in the queer community or something?
Yeah.
I would say that there's definitely a certain amount of that if you're around folks who are like newly out of the closet, because when you're, sort of experiencing life without, the chains on you, so to speak, there's definitely a tendency to, dive in head first, experience sex either with the people that you want to be having it with or as the person that you want to be. Um, but I tend to find that as long as you are clearly communicating your own boundaries and everybody is respecting consent, then it's a good time for everybody.
All right. No, apologies. This is going to be a short one, but that's quite a good answer. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you.
yeah,
Go on.
just don't feel pressured if you don't want to do anything with anybody, and forgive the baby queers. They're they're exploring, they're still figuring things out. For newly out trans people who are just starting HRT, they're literally in puberty, so it's it's
Hormones raging.
yeah, it's a bit of an experience, especially in that first year.
Lovely. Thank you. It's just thanks to being on terminally online, I have met a lot of folk, and it's just one thing I've noticed, and I'm just not sure if it's. I wasn't sure initially if it's just me picking it up and misunderstanding, or if it's a bit of a thing. But it's no. I appreciate you taking the time to respond to me with this. Look after yourselves. Have a good night. And
yeah, and people are
we don't
definitely going to be a bit
identify
crazier on the
up in
internet.
Scotland. Yeah.
Yeah,
worry.
Scotland's cool.
Take care.
Don't
Have a
worry.
good night, folks.
I don't have I
Yeah.
ain't got a problem with the Scots, just the Brits.
We ain't got a problem with y'all. Have a good night and look after yourselves. Bye-bye.
Andrew, you have a good
You
one.
too.
Okay, is it a bit? I can't tell if it's a bit. My autism
It's
don't
mostly a bit.
work that way. Okay, see guys, it's a bit.
Mostly a bit.
If anyone didn't catch it, I was accidentally muted for a second there at the end, so you do get a Jovan is muted on your bingo board if you want it. So go nuts. You did get that just in case you wanted it. Next caller. But remember to call in 219-327-8005 if you want to debate. Again, 219-327-8005. We're looking for conservatives. We're looking for capitalists. We're looking for Christians. We are looking for transphobes. Would love to talk to the uneducated ilk of transphobes. Are you a TERF? Call
It's
in.
me. I'm right here. I'm the evil woke.
Are you a trans medicalist? I'd love to talk to you.
Oh no.
I'd love to talk to trans med. Are you a trans person who thinks that LGB should be without the T? Call in. I
Yeah.
can't say anything super negative to you, but Mephi sure can.
Oh yeah. Grifters call in. She who I will never give any free clout to fled Texas at the beginning of the second term, and I just gotta wonder what's up with that. What's up with that? You know,
Who we talking
you
about?
would think. Oh, Blair White.
Oh,
Yeah,
Blair White.
real pulling up the ladder behavior.
Let's bring up our next guest. Remember, if you guys want the post show, send those super chats in to get some post show happenings. Coming up next to stream, we have Sarah. Sarah is calling in from Maine to talk about topic number 3, capitalism being unethical. Sarah, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns. Ooh. Sarah?
Hi, Javon. Sarah, I'm 40, she, her.
Awesome. Now, Sarah, you do have a bunch of background noise. Is there any way to I don't know if that's, or shit, I put him. Is there any way to like turn, like, I don't know if it's a TV off or go into another room or?
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. My husband is talking in the background.
Oh, it's no problem. Tell him we said hi.
I'm having a husband.
My condolences. It's crazy.
I'll try to keep him out.
Now, Sarah, I actually don't know Mephi's leanings on the capitalism frame, but I will tell you, to start the conversation, capitalism is fully unethical. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
Yeah, I definitely disagree. I do believe that capitalism and its free exchange of value interpretation promotes a stronger interpretation through society of our exchanges of values and products and whatnot. I don't believe that a centralized market system can really capture and evaluate those goods sufficiently for a long-term benefit to society. I do think that they can do a short-term sufficient and proficient evaluation for progress in society. I just don't think in the long term that they are able to appropriately do that.
Well, if it wasn't possible to evaluate demand, then how are the capitalists doing it?
Capitalists do that because there are individual capitalists that succeed in doing so in the short term, and then they die out.
Are they just guessing,
Sarah,
or are there like ways that we can measure this?
Sarah, have you read? Oh my God, guys, chat, help me out here.
Wealth
My
of
book still
Nations?
hasn't shown. No. My book still hasn't shown up. God, the People's Republic of Walmart. Have you read the People's Republic of Walmart?
No.
Walmart is like the largest centrally planned economy in like the world. And if Walmart can do it, we can do it, right? There's nothing saying that, like, especially at the advent of computing, right? Like if you had said to me like prior to computers, like, yeah, central planning is gonna be really fucking hard. It's not that hard. It wouldn't be that hard anymore. Also, your husband is very loud, Sarah, like very loud. So yeah, like there's really like this idea that like in order to have an economy flow well, we need like right now, even right now, the economy is not driven primarily by market demand anymore. Like the market demand is invented by the capitalists. They make up what we want and they target us with ads and a whole litany of other things to get us to buy things that we don't even want. It's not even that we demand this thing. They build artificial demand. If we can cut out the need for artificial demand, it's going to be a lot easier to plan an economy around a needs-based system.
Yeah, that's the entire AI bubble right now. You're seeing all AI ads for everything, and nobody wants it. The demand isn't actually there, and they're struggling to make it happen because they've invested so much into it already. That is not capitalists responding to demand. That is capitalists attempting to make demand for the thing that they want to sell you.
those are interesting arguments. Sorry, I muted myself, and I understand that my husband was loud. I hopefully provided him sufficient argument that he's been loud. I understand the assessment that there are simple things that we can assess that are necessary. The complication is when we get to products and goods and services that are beyond our abilities to predict of what is going to be valuable. For example, I don't think if we lived in a centralized society, we'd ever progress beyond the horse and carriage, because we would come up with metrics to assert that that is the valuable state, and the value in order to transcend that horse and carriage would be beyond what the state would be willing to provide to transcend that. And
Well, most of
I'm
our
coming at this
innovation.
from a. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just. Most of our innovation right now isn't coming out of private sector R&D. It's coming out of universities and subsidized. Pretty much, it's all subsidized by the government, right? Even the private sector R&D that does exist out there, like in the pharmaceutical sector, is also heavily subsidized by the government based on what kind of research avenues they're going down. And then a lot of the research that eventually leads to innovations is also done at universities, subsidized by the government. And you see Trump getting up there and whining about transgender mice because he doesn't understand what transgenic mice are. But these are the kind of this is the kind of scientific research that leads to the innovation that you're talking about, and it all happens outside of the realm of capitalist markets.
I don't disagree with you. There are benefits. I listen, I am not discounting the element of the necessity of the state funding things. I think that's important. I'm just saying that there's also inherent value to capitalist markets in which groups of people willing to invest their own capital to ventures that are not necessarily safe in pursuit of a return. That
what examples are
What?
can you give an example of what you're talking about here?
Yeah. So a great example, honestly, in the medical realm would actually be proton therapy, which is a cancer therapy modality in which it was actually promoted by the United States because there were those with large capital investment willing to put into these large capital projects that the rest of the developed world were unwilling to put into it until about a decade
but
or
again,
two
all,
after.
all you'd have to do in a socialist system is just prove that the research you're doing is worth it, and then we'll fund, and then like you'll get the resources you need to do it. You wouldn't even need the large capital investment. You just show that your research is actually like
you're
worthwhile
just sort
to
of
the community.
counting on the goodwill of the capitalists to want to invest in that thing and hopefully see a profit in it in the long run, when a lot of the stuff that is good for people just isn't profitable. Like, capitalism is a great way to invent 14 varieties of Dr. Pepper, but it's not a great way to invent new medicine.
Sorry, my assertion, my example of proton therapy is actually specific because it took off primarily in the United States. And then Europe started to adopt it after about 10 years or so of its demonstrated utility within the United States. Its particular utility was because it was financially beneficial in the US for prostate cancer, which was not a true life or death kind of situation, but something that rich older white men were willing to invest their money in so that they could continue to get erections versus the other modalities. But the complication is that that financial pathway was a way to demonstrate that it was medically feasible to the other developed countries. It's not a perfect example. It is an example I'm familiar with.
But
like
I said, it would just, if the
ahead.
community finds a usefulness in this, we put the resources towards doing it. If we don't, then we don't.
Also, I'm seeing a lot of the history on this. It's coming from we're seeing the initial research is conducted in particle accelerators in
Harvard,
Europe at universities,
Harvard, and
in the
CERN, of course,
USSR,
yes.
right? Like this seems like it's kind of an international effort overall.
So again, I'm not discounting the necessity for state investment in things. The part I'm arguing is that, listen, I will say, I mean, the internet probably wouldn't have existed without, DARPA and military, interconnectivity of universities and blah, blah, blah. What I'm saying is that there is an element of having those kind of weird investment opportunities in which people are willing to take risks on having a return on their investment.
Wait, again, but we don't need people to do that. There's no reason for that, right? When we can just give the resources to whatever endeavor we find most beneficial to us as a society. And in fact, you would probably see a lot more things be worked on because you wouldn't have to rely on capital to do it. How many people who are scientists can't get their research funded, even though it's promising and it looks like it's actually is very beneficial to the world. They just can't get the funding for it. So capitalism is vastly more unethical in its framework than the slight little bit of here's how it may be able to help that you're framing it under,
Sorry, I'm thinking. I agree with the emotional framing. Maybe it's my lack of imaginativity on it.
Yeah, I think the main question at issue here is should the allocation of resources towards research be decided by an investor class or, maybe the relevant experts in the field?
Yeah, no, that's challenging. Because ironically, I actually tend to align with you in this element of the expert class because I disagree with populism. So I align with kind of experts and technocrats and the establishment and whatnot.
Sarah, I want to find out something real quick. Do you think it is ethical that we currently have a system in which a small portion of individuals control all of the resources that the other 99% of us need access to?
No, but can I provide a kind of enlightening element of that?
I mean, sure, but no seems like a pretty concrete answer, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, it is a concrete no. The element is, I would hope that I'm not opposed to experts and technocrats kind of guiding the way on all of those things. I am opposed to it in its current framing because people like Elon Musk are sure while they're doing, potentially things that I don't want to do as far as being a CEO and things like that, Um, I don't think that Elon Musk is a rather enlightened, elevated person, or Donald Trump or whatever. So no one in its current
Do you
state.
think that the money invested into SpaceX would have been more wisely invested had it gone to NASA?
So yes, but are you familiar with the Apollo mission and how the Apollo mission was also funding to, Lockheed Martin and all of the
Sarah,
various other
your issue
contractors?
is that you think that we have to do it this way. We don't. We don't even need funding per se. It's just the people who want to do these things just need the resources to do them. And if humans have a shared drive, personally, I don't think there's a reason for us to go to space. So I don't care one way or another. Like, I don't think we should move off of this planet until we figure this planet out. But like, if we want to fund that stuff, like if we want to support that stuff, we just get the people the resources they need to support those things.
It's challenging because in some ways I do think that in order for us to progress as a species, or sorry, not as just a species, as a culture, it's important for us to have leaders by example. And while I agree with you from a functional perspective, there's not necessarily a need for us to get off the planet, I do also think that the NASA program sans all of the baggage of we were competing with Soviet Russia, blah, blah, blah. There was a motivation for us as a culture and as a species further to, get off of the planet and go to the moon and, potentially go further.
The motivation of going to the moon was a war. It wasn't anything. Well, you could say it was capitalist, as in the capitalists were trying to beat the non-capitalists, but it was essentially a pissing contest. It was see who can do it first.
I don't disagree.
But like, there's no reason for us to go to the moon right now. We've way bigger fish to fry here.
Do you not think that if we were to do, Starshot mission or whatever, like missions or actions beyond our, Earth?
I think we should worry about. I think we should worry about making sure everybody has their needs met first. Way more important to me.
Absolutely.
The resources exist to both feed and house everyone and send some rockets out of the solar system, right? This isn't an either or question here. We just need to stop siphoning off so much of the resources to people who are never going to be able to be satisfied. They're just going to keep on consuming forever and ever and ever.
I agree with all of those concerns. I think, going back to my main contention that capitalism is quote unquote unethical, I would agree with you that unregulated capitalism is unethical. In the same way, I would argue that absolute socialism, or, well, not necessarily communism, but that absolute socialism would be unethical in some regard. But
the problem is that capitalism eventually buys the people who regulate capitalism.
Capitalism always leads to corporatism, and it will always lead to corporatism.
In extreme conditions, I would agree with that.
In every condition.
Align with corporatism.
Yep.
In literally every capitalism will always, if money equals power, which it has to, if money is tradable for resources, money then has to equal power. Power equals your ability to control. And who has more power than corporations, people who amass large amounts of capital. It will always lead to corporatism or crony capitalism, whatever you want to call it.
to be fair, like even under an ideal communist society, there would be groups have power. That just will be the case.
How so?
Well, through social credit.
Sure, but I can't take someone's food away with social credit. I can't hoard water with social credit.
If you have the social credit to enact policy, then you do, yes.
But wait, I can't enact policy on my own in a communist system.
Well, in a communist system, it would be an ideal communist system. It would be direct democracy, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
people liking me doesn't mean that they're going to agree and want to do the things I want to do policy-wise, especially if those policies are, let me take food out of your mouth.
Right. Under the communist system, the barrier that you're talking about that needs to be overcome here is you need to convince enough people to want to do something that is against their own interests. And under the capitalist system, the barrier is, does the capitalist feel like doing that today?
But the Republican Party is convincing people to take food out of. They're convincing people to cut their own nose in spite of their face right now because they don't like trans people or they don't like immigrants or whatever. Like they're literally doing that. So.
Oh, certainly people are dumb, but also they're not going to be able to as effectively spread their propaganda if we, tax the people who fund the propaganda out of existence. And I would much rather be dealing with a large system of many people in power than the way that all regular people are pretty much locked out of most systems of power right now. Hey, I'll give it to you. The people who sit down with a bucket of glue and watch Fox News are the strongest argument against direct democracy. It's just not really sufficient, and it would definitely be a better system than what we have going on at the moment. Sorry, you were starting to say something.
Jovan, no, I was just gonna say sorry.
I always do that. Sarah, we do got to move on.
Sure.
So thank you for calling in, and hopefully you sit and think on that a little bit more. All right.
I will. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good talking to you, Sarah. Take care.
Shout out to Dahlia Lopunny who paid to boot the guest. So if you have a pay to boot on your bingo card, go ahead and click it. I'm actually one away from bingo, chat. So It might be going to me. I might win my own thing. Just kidding. Hey guys, remember to support the show. Cash App and Venmo are on the screen. Remember, Cash App and Venmos go to keep the call line open and keep this call-in screeners paid. Mephi on Discord, I did send you a link to, I sent you the website to go sign up for, and then you'll be able to see the callers. And then Pillow sent you the Discord server for post-show. We are $20 away from post-show, by the way. If we get 20 more bucks in super chats, we get a post-show. Damn, chat, so close. Did caller have sources? No. I wouldn't call what they gave us a source. It was an example. I wouldn't say an example is necessarily a source. Okay, we're gonna take the next call, and I'm not excited about this one. I'm not even gonna do the spiel. Randy, what do you want?
Excuse me, this is Jimmy?
It's Randy.
I'm sorry, you have the wrong person.
Your girl voice is better than whatever voice this is, Randy.
I'm completely flabbergasted. I have no idea what
That's great. Randy, what do you want? I'm not going to talk to you if you keep putting up the front that you're somebody else. If you want to have the conversation, drop the performance.
All right, Jovan, you got me.
Obviously. You think we don't know who you are at this point?
How are
I've
you?
never heard of
You doing
Randy.
good?
I was so much better until you called, Randy. I was doing
Bro,
phenomenal until you called.
honestly, I miss you. I miss you. Like this whole
Please
time of
don't.
my life, like I've missed you for real. No, no joke. I'm not even joking.
Gay. Randy,
I find you very entertaining and intellectual, and I love the show, and I love calling in, and I just feel like we got off on the wrong foot.
the wrong foot, like
Yeah,
when
I
you
troll
pretended to
sometimes.
be a trans
Yeah, I
woman to
troll
call in to talk about how bad trans women are? That's the wrong foot.
No, I didn't. What did I say, bro? I
Are
troll
you out here
sometimes. All right,
stealing my
you got
clout,
me.
Randy?
Excuse me. Who else is speaking? I see a woman, Jovan, and then a third party, which I don't see. I'm on YouTube.
A third party? What are you talking about?
Yeah, somebody's speaking.
It's
Something
me,
stealing clout.
the other person on the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. The delayed. Oh, hello. How are you?
I'm doing okay, thoroughly confused. What do you want to talk about,
Randy
Randy?
is a problem caller. Just a problem caller.
No,
yeah.
no. Why would
I
you?
like messing
Why
with
would
them.
you identify me as a problem caller? Why don't we just start a new chapter? You were getting paid, bro. People paid you to get me off. I literally did it so you could get money, bro. You should literally thank me. I mean, honestly,
Randy,
I do the same
Randy,
thing
I'll
with
drop you
all
for
of
free. That's how much I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, bro, I love you, bro. I love you. But if you want to talk about number 6, can we talk about number 6? Honestly.
So Randy wants to talk about abortion. Okay, this should be.
Yeah, please. I mean, if the other one, I can't see your name. It's too small.
This should be incredible,
Okay.
Randy. I can't wait.
Yeah, everybody starts screen recording. All right, so abortion all 9 months. You believe in that?
That's why it's on the screen, Randy.
Okay, I just wanted to
This
make
ain't
sure.
your first rodeo.
So
it's like your 10th rodeo, by the way.
All right. Let's start over, brother. So number 6, I believe there are other alternatives, much better alternatives than abortion at all 9 months.
What
Like when the kid is ready.
What alternative does a pregnant person have if they don't want to be pregnant?
Adoption. I mean, but they have no choice. They
wait. So you're saying they do have to be pregnant?
Surrogacy.
So you're saying they do have to stay pregnant. They don't want to be pregnant.
No, but if they're pregnant, they're pregnant. If I have cancer, I have cancer. I have to do something about it.
Yes, you go get chemotherapy and then you don't have cancer anymore.
Logical. So exactly.
So they are going to go do chemo abortion and not be pregnant anymore.
But like, so on the 8th month and 15th day, you're okay with somebody aborting that child?
You know what an abortion looks like at 8 months and 15 days, Randy? Do you know what that looks like? It looks like giving birth. It looks like inducing labor and giving birth, and people do it all the time.
No, you know what they do? They literally blend up parts of the child and cut it up. And, I'm sorry.
Randy, I need you to lose the fantasies, right? This is not
my mother's a nurse.
Randy's fanfic world. We are talking about real life. When a person at 8 months and 15 days doesn't want to be pregnant anymore, they induce labor and then give birth. And that is an abortion, because abortion is the termination of a pregnancy.
But abortion results in a dead fetus afterwards.
No, it doesn't.
Child
abortion
afterwards.
is a medical term. And Fox News has made you upset about the term abortion by saying that it's murder every single
Fox
time.
News, bro. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not
down to X.
Please.
It's filtered down to Elon Musk's Twitter, and you get it from the comment sections and AI bots there.
Elon Musk
got it.
Randy. Let's do this super simply. Let's do this. This will be just so easy. Tell me why abortion is wrong.
No, abortion is good, but I'm saying all up to the 9 months.
Tell me why abortion in the 9th month would be wrong.
I mean, bro, because the kid is literally alive and kicking in the stomach. If you don't want,
if a woman, Randy, if a woman or a man or a pregnant person wants to have an abortion, and it's the 9 month, and they go, doctor, I don't want to be pregnant anymore, and the doctor says, okay, we'll induce labor and take it out.
Give birth.
Tell me what's
birth.
Yeah, that's what the abortion is.
But that's not an abortion. inducing labor
Randy,
and
why is
abortion
it
are
the
two
world's
different things.
problem that you don't know what the term abortion means?
No, you guys are using tricky language. An abortion
tricky.
and an induced
Oh my
and an
gosh.
induced
I didn't realize
labor
that
and
it
an
was
abortion
tricky
are
to
two
use
different
the
things.
correct
An
medical
abortion is just
terms.
the
That's my
ending
bad.
of a. It's just the ending of a pregnancy. It's just the purposeful termination of a pregnancy. That's it. Abortions can be done via induction or hysterotomy abortions, which are essentially C-sections. They can be done while keeping the fetuses intact. So there's no reason to
I'm very aware.
assume. So any abortion, my stance would be any abortion post 24 weeks, unless there is a medical reason not to, should be an induction or a hysterotomy.
Okay, I agree. I 100% agree with that. See, so the
Then
problem
Randy,
lies
you are
in
our Randy,
understanding
you're
and definition of
Randy,
abortion.
Randy, if you agreed with what I just said,
Javon.
you believe in being pro-choice on throughout the pregnancy, just like I do.
Yeah, I do. 100%.
Randy,
Yeah.
what's
Then
your
we have-
I
policy
agree with a lot
prescription
of what
here?
you say.
We have
I
nothing we
agree with
disagree on,
everything
Randy.
what you say. I
I would be
agree.
willing to bet that there is, because I think that Randy would probably be in favor of some sort of legalistic abortion ban at that point, which tends to
You
be
think
a
Randy hasn't utilized abortions before? Come on now.
No, never.
Randy
think that being one
absolutely
and
has given a
utilizing
woman
one are the same thing.
$500. He has given a woman $500. You don't want to lose that. You don't want to lose that.
$50. No, I'm actually a virgin, so I don't know what you're talking about.
There's never been a lie you've told, Randy, that has sounded more true than that lie.
I'm not lying.
There has never been a fabrication you've ever told that's been more real than that fabrication.
I feel like I've been unconsensually roped into Randy's humiliation kink here, because this is
Randy's
like
weird.
purposefully making yourself a moral cow.
I'm kind of getting roasted for no reason. I'm just saying it's not right to.
Could the reason be that you've called me 9 other times and I'm over it, Randy? What? Could that be the reason? I haven't
called you in like a month. I just missed you.
Could the reason be that I've dealt with your pedantic ass 9 previous times?
Yo, okay. Let me just say, I sincerely apologize for trolling you, right? I said, I like from man to man, I sincerely apologize. All right.
Randy, the U.S. apologized for Hiroshima, and it really didn't make a difference, okay?
Okay,
Trolls
see, you don't accept
it,
but I still apologize. That's fine. You don't have to accept it. It's fine. But I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I apologize for trolling you. I was just trying to make your live more lively. I was trying to get you some more money, people paying to kick me and whatever. And it worked. It worked.
My favorite thing is when disingenuous people admit to me that they were being disingenuous, and now they expect me to find them genuine now.
No, you don't have to. I'm just letting you know. I'm just clearing up the muddied histories, so the lore of Randy will be undismirched.
I just want everyone to know. Randy can't hear me right now. The rest of you can. I just want everyone to know. I'm just waiting for that 10-minute mark so that this can be a full clip. And then Randy's gone. So in literally...
Randy is a normal guy just like
30 seconds, Randy is out. So y'all can keep talking, but in 30 seconds, this motherfucker is gone. Whatever. Randy, I don't care.
Oh my goodness. Randy, your history is muddied because you have decided to roll around in the mud and walk in, and now you're like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. While you're trampling around, still with mud on you. Like, Randy, this is entirely self-inflicted. You have done this to yourself.
I mean, this is the first time we've met each other, and you've heard of me, so I don't.
If you call somebody 9 times, I'm sorry, you're giving all the information that I would need to know about you as a caller. And given the way that this conversation has gone, I very much doubt your what's the word? Genuineness? Genuinity? Nah, genuineness.
We hit the 10-minute mark. So Randy got spladoodled. Thanks for calling, Randy. And I also love how he's like, I'm being genuine now. You called in today with a fake name. What are you talking about?
Right.
Today, you tried to call in with a fake name. Please. Mephi, you
invents
should
these
be
people?
able, I don't know. You should be able to hop
Oh,
into the
yes.
current show chat and you'll see a section of callers and that'll show you when we have new callers sitting in the queue waiting to be talked to.
Awesome. I'm
Fucking Randy, guys. 219-327-8005. If you want to support the show for having to deal with Randy's bitch ass. Cia G, thank you for the Cash App. Thank you so much, friend.
how do I see the
you should just be able to go to current show.
Oh, okay, there it is. I got it.
You can also edit the
I
layout
know
at the top so
technology.
it can be in the format you want it to be. But yeah. You should see the
this is
show
dope.
and all three chats. You should see both my YouTube chats and my Twitch chat in the live chat feature.
Yep, I see it. Awesome.
All
This
right.
is awesome. Love this site. That's cool.
We only have one more person on the line, so let's get some more people to call in. Remember, you can call in with office hours. If you want to call in with office hours, that's totally fine too. Totally down for an office hour. Destined Death, thank you for the super chat. So like pick the phone up, 219-327-8005. That number again is 219-327-8005. You can call in and debate anything you want. Be it, thank you for the Venmo. Said Randy compensation is crazy. Oh, I can't believe Randy. It's been so long. I really loved not having Randy here for such a long time. Let's bring up our next caller. Coming up to stream, we have Nats. Nats is calling from London to talk about topic number 1, trans men and women being men and women. Nats, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
30, and I think I'm obviously a girl. I don't really do the pronoun stuff.
And what are your girl pronouns, Nats?
You're a 30-year-old
Whatever
girl?
a girl is.
So you tell me, Nats. I asked you the question.
Oh, I'm an adult female.
Adult female was not the question I asked. I can ask the question again. You might not have heard it. I'm just wondering what your pronouns are.
I'm not sure.
You aren't.
You don't know?
I can. Listen, I don't know what the education system is like in London. Maybe they have worse education on grammar. So if you'd like, I can inform you what like the list of third person pronouns are. Would you like them? I can give them to you.
I understand what pronouns are, but I just don't conform to that.
You said I don't know, so I don't know implies that you lack the knowledge.
Oh no, I'm not American where I don't know maps and the difference between British and Scottish and all of that, like one of the other people that were just talking not long ago.
Well, we said we didn't say whether they were British or Scottish. So I don't know what that means.
No,
they did call from Scotland, and we very specifically made the distinction between Scotland and Britain.
Calling in, the American that was talking, saying, "Oh, I don't like the Brits, but I don't mind the Scottish." If he actually knew, Scottish people are British. It consists of Wales, England, North of Ireland, and Scotland. So
don't tell the Scottish that. They're not going to be happy to hear you say that.
I don't care about any of this, Nats. What are your pronouns?
It's just facts. It's just facts. I'm a woman.
That didn't answer my question. Should I ask it again?
You don't need to be patronizing, but okay, if you want to.
I don't need to be patronizing. You aren't answering the question I asked you at the start of my stream. You came onto my stream and are refusing the questions.
No problem. My pronouns to you would be she and her.
There you go. Well, 2 minutes of my life I'm never getting back, Nats. All right. Nats, we believe trans men and women are men and women. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
I disagree because I just believe it's underneath the mental health spectrum of issues. And it's become like a growing trend.
Fantastic.
We have it a lot.
So when you talk about mental health conditions, are you saying that being trans is an illness?
Mental health illness, yes.
Great. Evidence?
Okay, great.
I would like to see some sort of, I assume, because you're claiming that this is a medical thing, right? You're saying it's a mental illness. I would assume you have either some sort of scientific or medical piece of academia that reinstates and backs up your position. So do you have evidence for that?
Yeah, in terms of gender dysphoria and everything, we have a doctor over here who advocates for the
You have a
people who
doctor.
fall under.
You have a
Sorry,
doctor?
say that again.
Wow.
So that's not a
Yes,
piece of
you guys just
evidence
don't like
for
facts.
the.
That's the problem. It's just
Whoa, whoa,
in
whoa, whoa,
terms
whoa,
of like
Nats,
you guys want to
hold
conform
on,
to
Nats.
the
I
whole.
don't think you understand what proper evidence would be. So if we're saying that something is a mental illness, one person saying this is a mental illness does not equate. So I would assume
No, I think
that you would have
level-headed
a
people who don't have
larger.
mental illness
I
would
don't do
say it's
common sense,
mental
Nats.
health
I don't
illness.
do common sense in a debate. It's
Nats.
useless. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to
clearly,
provide you some
clearly.
I'm going to provide you counter evidence. Okay. So
Please
I'll
do,
do the
please
burden
do.
of proof,
Nats,
since apparently you don't want to do that,
this,
Nats. So I'll do it
Of
because
course.
I just think it will make
I love an
all of our
American to
lives.
educate me. I would
I think it would.
love an American to educate
Well,
me.
yeah, when you're uneducated, you would need
Apparently.
somebody who's more educated to do it for you. Yeah,
Okay,
obviously.
okay. Get me a map. Get
Obviously.
me a map and let me know. Yeah.
Get you a
You go
map.
for it though.
I just want to know, are the ad homs, do you think they're working for you?
No, maybe working for you
All
a
you're
little
doing is
bit,
making
but
me dislike the British more.
Sorry, it appears you couldn't answer the
oh, you can do
question
that, but you're
directly.
probably of European
It
descent,
appears
babe.
you couldn't
You're
answer
probably of
the
European
question.
descent.
Nats, did you come here to actually have the debate, or did you come here to like perform? I'm just wondering.
No, not perform, because you guys are obviously performing, and
Well,
it's just
you're
one
literally
person
doing a
who.
performance right now. Like
I
right
know,
now,
you
you're
don't like what I
literally
have
doing
to
a
say 'cause you're
performance.
being
I
offended.
asked you
You
for
can't have an
evidence of
adult
something.
conversation.
I'm sorry.
Nats,
Did you or did you
Nats,
not lack the ability to provide me evidence for a claim you made?
Oh, as I was speaking, you interrupted me and said, "Oh,
You said there is one doctor. Yes, one
and
doctor
all of
means
that."
nothing to me.
yeah. Nats,
But
we need to
okay, then that's
focus up here, all right? We
completely
need to
fine.
focus
Are
up
you
here.
able to
Let's
define
focus
what a
up.
woman is for me?
Nats, you were asked a specific question. We'll get to that in a moment. I need you to focus up here, okay? You were asked to provide evidence that being trans is a mental illness. We're not talking about just one person making an opinion. We're talking about something that is backed by peer-reviewed empirical evidence that is widely accepted by the experts in the field. Do you have something like that? Or are you just spouting things out of your ass? I'm sorry,
Oh,
arse.
no, I'm not. But you just don't like the fact that it's a growing trend and it's a dangerous cult.
Yeah, so hold on. Nats.
So that's more
You can't
claims.
define a
Nats. I
female,
don't know
I mean, sorry,
why.
not a female, a woman.
Nats. I don't know why when someone asks you for evidence, if your next sentence out of your mouth, when someone says, do you have evidence for this claim, is no, I don't, guess what I'm going to do for everything else you say after saying no, I don't? I'm rejecting it because it doesn't matter to the form of the conversation. Now, I'm going to provide you with some counter evidence. Now, the American Psychiatric Association, which is a large group of not just one, but thousands of doctors, by the way, who quite literally write the book in the US on mental illness and mental health conditions, right? Hence the DSM, the Diagnostic and Strategic Manual. The DSM-5 is the current iteration. They have a handy thing called their website, psychiatry.org, which is run by the American Psychiatric Association. And when you look at gender dysphoria, they have a fun little section, and it's great. And it's called Ruling Out Psychiatric Illness. And you want to know one of my favorite quotes that they have directly on here? There are no studies indicating that psychiatric illness causes gender dysphoria as a consistent condition over time. So I've provided you evidence.
Believe that it would be? Like, do you honestly believe that in
does not
like,
matter. It genuinely doesn't matter. What I believe,
okay,
who cares?
Are you able to just have a conversation? I'm
well, no, the point of the conversation, wait, Nats, the point of the conversation is, are trans men and women women? You said no because your because was because you believe it to be a mental health issue. I've provided evidence that it's not a mental health issue. So now your reason for why you don't think they're men and women, it no longer holds. Because I've been able to provide evidence that it is not a mental health issue.
Xenophobic insults in the beginning, which probably you guys are from European descent.
Did anybody make a single I'm from European descent? Whoa, Nats. I'm European descent, you think?
I think Nats is struggling with sarcasm.
Maybe. Have you looked at me?
What about the other one who said he doesn't like the Brits, or he, she, I'm not sure, doesn't like the Brits?
Who are you talking about?
Nats, you don't know what a joke is, do you?
Oh, a joke. But if
do you think that I am learning for the first time today that I'm probably of European descent? Did that?
Yeah, no, this is a first for you, Mephi. You didn't know that? You didn't know that, Mephi? You had no...
Hmm.
Nats,
Sorry,
I
say
have
that
no
again. Both of
clue.
you people, I don't know what pronouns you
you
guys use,
people.
but
It's right on the
yeah, you
screen.
two,
Is
as in
reading
like you two
easier?
against me.
Like, I know that pronouns were hard, so maybe reading is also a struggle.
Oh, okay, Mr. European, or sorry, Miss Europe. I genuinely don't know your pronouns and whatnot.
It's
That's why I'm
on
saying
the
he, she kind of.
screen.
You could also just ask, you know, you could say, what are your pronouns?
But I don't really care. That's the problem. You guys care so much about
Do you
pronouns. I don't.
notice? Wait. Do you notice how? Okay, I'm gonna mute you real quick, Nats, because that's hilarious to say. I just want to throw this out there. Why that's so funny? Because you keep having to double speak because you don't know what Mephi's pronouns are, and so you're wasting more time in the sentence instead of just saying, "Hey, I don't know what your pronouns are. What are they?" And then you never have to do this whole, well, I don't know what your pronouns are every 3 seconds in the conversation. It's almost like pronouns are a useful tool in speaking in language. Almost. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm, you know, maybe I have a different understanding of grammar than you. But Nats,
the only person who doesn't have to use pronouns is Shadow the Hedgehog, and I'm afraid that is not you, Nats.
well, or a caveman. All right, if we found a caveman, I would respect a caveman going unga bunga. Right? Nats, I would assume somebody at their big age of 30 wouldn't go unga bunga, but who knows? Nats,
Well,
what I'd really love from
did
you,
describe herself as a 30-year-old girl, so
yikes, what I'd really love from you, Nats, is just
You
an
asked
argument.
if I was a girl. You like.
I asked what your pronouns
you a
were. I don't give a
girl?
shit
Are
if
you a
you're a girl or
girl?
not. I asked if you were what your pronouns were. I don't give a fuck if you're
Oh,
a girl or
okay.
not.
I hope this. Yeah, okay, no problem, no problem. So
Hey,
are we
Nats,
over the
I'm
whole
just
pronoun
wondering.
stuff that you
I'm
guys
just wondering
care so
the
much
thing that
about?
Nats, you keep messing up Mephi's pronouns, and you're saying, "Are we over the pronoun thing?" I'm just
yeah.
gonna ask you,
It's she,
Nats.
her, by the
Because you
way.
don't
Like,
really.
do you
It just
think that this is taking less
reflects how
time
you.
than just being respectful and asking someone their
Truthfully,
pronouns and providing your
God, we
pronouns?
could have
Like,
What
wasted
honestly.
so much time on this call, Nats.
I completely get it, and I do apologize if I offended you guys.
Nats, I'm gonna tell you
Are you
right
gonna
now,
apologize for being xenophobic or
nobody
anything?
in London will ever offend me. I just gotta let you know. No one from London will ever
Oh, bless, like
offend
your
me.
great grandmother or something, or the
What?
other one. I don't know which one of you it was that was xenophobic. Are you Native American, both of you?
Am I
I can't
Native
believe I've
American?
actually managed to upset
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
British
just asking.
with my hating the British bit.
Nats, where do
That
you
is
think,
so
like, let's just
amazing.
do a guess. If I had to guess where my ancestry leads, what do you think, what part of the globe, what continent do you think it might point to?
Oh, God knows. God knows.
Russia.
What about the other one that's speaking so much that doesn't
Yeah, I like
to
how you gotta resort back to the, like, oh, I can't bring
because
this
the
up to the
other
black
him
one, so
or
I gotta
her,
point back to the other one. I can't
hasn't
bring it to the black
bothered
one.
to.
Oh, watch out.
No, not the
Can't
black one,
ask the
babe.
blacks.
I didn't say anything about.
Nats, here's what I'd
No, I
love.
didn't say
Here's
that.
what I'd
What
love,
about the
Nats.
one?
Here's
Why,
what I'd love,
You know,
why
when
don't
Nats.
you?
people make fun
what-
of when people make fun of Americans, when people from other countries make fun of Americans, you know what I don't do? I don't call into a show and like throw a fit about it.
Like, who
I'm not throwing a
cares?
fit. I'm just saying
You
it's
keep
so
bringing it up.
strange. Like,
What
what
do
do
you
you guys say?
mean? You keep bringing it up,
Okay, I
Nats.
brought it up. You bring up pronouns. Why do you care so much about pronouns?
It's almost Nats. Okay, I'm gonna let you in. I'm
Oh,
actually gonna let you
there
in,
you
Nats.
go.
Wait.
You can't
I'm gonna let you
deflect
in.
and deflect
I'm gonna
with
let you in, Nats. I'm
accountability.
gonna
It's
let you
very
in and tell
hard
you
for
why.
guys.
I'm gonna let you in and tell you why. Okay, are you ready for this? It is pretty, Nats. If
It's
we're
so
boring you, you can go.
defensive.
If we're boring you, you can skedaddle. I'm
You guys have
literally going
jobs,
to
just in
answer the
general.
question. I'm literally going to answer the question you asked. So maybe pull your britches up, get some aluminum, you know, in your non-AC house, and listen for a second. Okay? Now, Nats, if I ask somebody a direct question, I'm going to mute you. I don't want to hear your voice. If I ask somebody a direct question, like, what are your pronouns? And they refuse to answer, they give a joke answer, they do what you did, and they be a little snotty person about it, then guess what? I have learned at the very start of my conversation that they are a dishonest interlocutor. I've learned from jump. And Nats, you did it. And everybody said, okay, Nats is not going to be intellectually honest in this conversation. And you proceeded not to be when I asked you for some type of evidence that trans people had a mental illness, and you brought up a singular doctor. That's not
So you
something an
haven't
honest
even named or
interlocutor would have
cited.
done. Well, to be fair on her, I did interrupt the second she said one doctor. I was like, not doing that. So Nats, the reason why the question is very important to me is because it weeds out who I have to put actual effort into a conversation and who I don't. And you showed at the start of the conversation.
Wide open.
Didn't have to do that with you. Now I'll unmute you. I'll unmute you again now that you know the reason why that question is so important to me.
I just have no idea what you just said because it's just nonsense and nonsense.
Listening to black people's hard for you, isn't it, Nats?
Nats.
You hear a black person talking, you just tune them right out.
Oh no, bless you! Don't even try that. Do not.
Can't hear those Negro spirituals in my book. Too many of them.
I would never say such a thing. I'm not brainwashed idiot American.
A brainless idiot would
listen to me talk.
spend this much time complaining about pronouns. That's what a brainless idiot would do. And I'm afraid that your little avocado pit.
Why do you guys care so much about my pronouns?
Because it is a rake that you have deliberately stepped on, and we are laughing at the handle.
Hold on, Mephi. Nats, I answered you, and you said you didn't listen to me. So now why would I answer you again the same question? I answered that question. And you said, okay, goodbye, Nats. I don't need to hear your fucking fake yawning bullshit. See ya.
What the heck?
Goodbye. What a fucking child.
Holy crap. Well, I mean, that's what happens when you describe yourself as a 30-year-old girl. I guess it's accurate, right?
Oh my God. Anyway, if somebody wants to call and have an honest conversation, I'm more than willing to do that. That wasn't Nats, clearly. Was not Nats.
Nats 1, maybe.
I didn't know fucking toddlers knew how to use a phone. That was surprising to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like shocked by that one. We got some more calls coming up. We're going to move to, we got a bingo winner to review. Hold on, everybody. Looks like we may have a bingo winner. Let's go and take a look. Oh, I know what I need to make. I need to make like an on-screen celebration for when somebody wins bingo. Let's go into my tools. We'll go into my bingo wins and let's see. 3 wins. The very first card we got was from Maple Moss from Saskatchewan. Let's see. Repeat caller. Yes. Caller references previous call. Now, yes. Oh, yes, because Nat referenced previous call. Oh, you got the Billy Sipes Memorial Square international caller and a microaggression. Do I want to give you microaggression on this one? I feel like
I felt microaggressed.
You know what? It's good enough. Maple Moss, you won the bingo. Congratulations. You won bingo today. You are now on the board, guys. If you want to keep playing bingo, you can keep playing for fun. But Maple Moss did win caller bingo. Congratulations. I know some other people had put in boards, but Maple Moss was the very first one in. So congratulations. JovanBradley.com/bingo. If you want to keep playing, you guys can either play with your old boards or roll new boards. Guys, 219-327-8005. Mephi, how you enjoying your first ever Jovan Bradley screen?
I'm having fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't really stuck around through an entire one of your streams before, so I'm learning a lot here.
Okay.
I love the way that this is done.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm throwing shade by accident.
Okay, I won't cry about that or anything.
It's just because I got ADHD.
Where's my soundboard?
If I'm not the one yapping, then I can't focus on anything. But anybody who's seen my streams will know that it is very much just an insane stream of consciousness, of course.
I tried to play a sad sound and my soundboard's not working.
No, I'm sorry. Chat, this is called beefing it super hard, where you guest on someone's show and immediately accidentally make them sad.
Damn. Okay, soundboard. Okay. Guess no soundboard today. Oh wait, audio down. Why is audio down? output SFX. Audio shouldn't be down. Wait, retry. Oh,
I got a soundboard. Oh,
there we go.
here, I got a.
Okay, soundboard's back, guys.
Rip.
Oh, we lost a caller, but it's fine. It was an office hours. Let's take our next debate call. Coming up to stream is Ben. Ben is calling from North Carolina to talk about topic number 6, abortion all 9 months. Ben, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Yep, I am 26 and I use the masculine pronouns.
Which masculine pronouns? There's a bunch of them.
There are?
Yep.
I didn't know that. I guess the one. Which ones are masculine? If you don't mind me asking, I will tell you them. I promise.
Well, I'll tell you once you tell me.
Okay, fair. He and him and his.
There we go. Wonderful. All right.
Cool. Yeah, I know
so
a lot
yeah,
of masculine folks who use he, they, or they, them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was talking about in terms of language. Like in typical language structure, the masculine are considered the he and him and his. I'm not talking so much about like gender identity. I'm talking about so that's what I thought it was. So I'm sorry if I misunderstood.
All right. Well, I mean, if you bring up a phrase as vague as the masculine pronouns, then since your pronouns are about you, I'm going to assume that it's about your masculinity and not about some language structure.
I would also say that there's a lot of neopronouns people consider masculine. People consider Zer to be more masculine than feminine. So there's just a bunch of different. But on to the topics here, Ben. We believe that abortion should be not just legal but free throughout the entirety of the pregnancy. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
I disagree, but I heard a little bit of an earlier call, and it seems that the definition of abortion is not. I don't think I would agree with your guys' definition of abortion. So would you be able to provide your definition of abortion to me?
Yeah, I would just say
Abortion
any
is
termination of a pregnancy via medical means. That just super simple.
Yeah. And it's very important
So you
that
wouldn't
we understand that that is the definition, because when people are having these discussions, we're talking about real healthcare, right? We're talking about an actual procedure, an actual set of procedures that people can get and do deserve to have access to, and trying to obfuscate it and say, well, I'm defining abortion as this, doesn't change that when abortion bans go into effect, they are banning all of the actual medical abortions as we have laid out in the actual medical definition.
Okay. The only reason I bring it up is because places like Merriam-Webster will also include the component of death, that the fetus does die in relation to it, which in your earlier
I'm sorry, say that again. Say that one more
debate. Yeah, so in the Merriam-Webster definition, and I think in the Oxford Dictionary definition,
I wouldn't.
They define
those are just like language dictionaries. I don't care what a language dictionary says.
Yeah, we're talking about medical
dictionaries. What medical dictionary? Can you provide me a medical dictionary?
Yeah, so actually, I used to get my definition directly from Harvard Medical, but this fun little thing happened, and you can still find the website they had this posted on if you go use the Wayback Machine. But this fun little thing happened when Donald Trump got into office, where they like went into institutions that were being funded by the federal government and had them like make a bunch of changes. And they took it off the list, but it was essentially a determination of a pregnancy via medical means, which is why I use that same. That's why I use that definitions.
Those are still the same because that's too technical for the avocado pit brains that are over at the Trump administration.
Okay, well, it's hard for me a little bit to disagree with all of the claim in that case. So can I just tell you sort of my take on?
I mean, we can talk if you want to just talk lethal abortions. We can
just talk what?
If you want to just talk lethal abortions, I can still defend those.
Yeah.
I guess
lethal abortions would be. I guess lethal abortions would be good. And by lethal, you mean like the intentional killing of the fetus?
Yeah, I would only count
Mhm.
lethal abortions prior to 24 weeks. That's when we see like the bulk of them. So if you want to just talk about abortions pre sentience, that's fine, but that's going to be a
Okay.
uphill battle for you.
Okay. Yeah. So my basic argument is, well, I'll give you sort of how I lay it out. So I think that all human beings have human rights. Now, well, my perspective is those are granted by God, but you can make a naturalistic argument for those. I think it is wrong to violate another human being's rights without just cause. I think the foundational human right is the right to life. And I believe that, well, this is more of a biological fact. Biologically, life begins at conception. Because of all of that, abortion terminates life, which violates the fundamental human right, and therefore it's wrong.
Great. So you have like realistically, you could boil what you have down to like a 3-premise syllogism.
Yeah, and I can go over those again if you
No,
want to bring
it's
them
fine.
up.
I would have a contention on a few things. One, I don't believe human beings should be granted rights based on just the fact that they are human beings. I think rights would be conditional to personhood, and being a human being does not grant you personhood. I would say being a sentient human being grants you personhood. So that would just then, dismantle the remaining like 3 or 4 premises you have after P1.
Okay. I mean, I kind of feel like, to be clear, I'm not very good at debating, but I do enjoy discussions like this. I feel like it can go any which direction. We could talk about like that definition of personhood, and where would you be able to identify sentience?
So the
I
way
don't
we
know.
do it is
Like,
we grant sentience at the basically at the ability for your brain. Once your brain finally has the necessary pieces that are needed to run sentience, we would grant you some level of moral consideration until that is permanently gone. So this would be around 24 weeks in humans. So what I usually say is around 24 weeks when a fetus is sentient. That's when I would say we should prioritize abortion methods that would keep it alive, unless there is like some medical reason that we can't do that. Then I would always give the decision to whoever's pregnant to make whatever call they want to make.
okay. Why do you, I guess I'm confused about that line of sentience. So would you say that you largely agree with my argument, except that, and maybe you already said this, but except that you don't draw the line at simply biological life
No,
and humanness because of personhood?
I'd also have an issue with what was it? It was the second premise, which was it's wrong to violate another human being's rights without just cause, because I would claim that abortions are justified. So therefore, even if we granted you that that fetuses received rights, it would still be a justified ending of that life.
Can I go down this train a little bit?
I mean, it's not my argument, but if you want to, okay.
It's my argument.
Okay.
I'm happy to consider a zygote from the moment that the zygote is formed. I'm happy to give it to you that that's a person, a whole ass human being. No human being has the right to parasitically leech off of someone else's body.
What makes it parasitic?
Literally the nature of the way that it is hooked into your organs and taking your nutrients. Pregnancy wreaks havoc on the human body. It is incredibly difficult and physically taxing and comes with a significant health risk as well as risk of death.
I suppose that's true, but it's also, there's a lot of grant me's in this. My opinion on abortion, I typically don't bring up the issue of rape, because it's a slightly different argument in that line. So in a consensual pregnancy, one where the person consents to getting pregnant, I don't see how that's a parasitic relationship.
It's definitely a parasitic relationship.
Yeah, you can volunteer, but your consent is required to keep that fetus in your body, and it doesn't have a right to stay there if you don't want it there.
I simply have a hard time believing that, just because, the consequences of your consent, like there are consequences to your actions, consensual, and I don't exactly see how you could say, well, you have to consent at every moment.
Yes,
I'm sorry, what was
consent
that?
needs to be ongoing. Consent needs to be ongoing, and it needs to be revocable. That's part of consent, right? Helpful little acronym, FRIES. Consent is freely given. Revocable. What's the word? What's the E? Informed and shoot, I'm forgetting my
Enthusiastic.
acronyms. Enthusiastic. That's the one. Informed and specific.
I'm sorry, ma'am. What's your name?
Mephi.
Messi?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I just want to make sure I was correct. So because you granted me the status of personhood for the sake of this argument, I don't think you can use the argument of consent because now there are two persons who are of equal consent in this picture. When you forcibly evict one, that is an instant death for that person. This isn't a case where it's like, okay, you have to move
Nope,
to
you
somewhere
don't
else.
have
We
the right
don't
to
have a medical
parasitically
means for
leech
that.
off of anything. You don't have a right to parasitically leech off of someone else's organs, even if you need that to stay alive. That other person is not obligated to use their organs to keep you alive.
What if you were placed there without consent in the first place? So your action was non-consensual that brought that person into life. There is no
It doesn't
consent
matter.
in
The
that
person,
case, and now they
you
are
still
alive.
don't have a right to use someone else's organs, right? If I were to say, try to end your life in such a way that then required, as a result, that I be hooked up to you to sustain your life using my organs, guess what? I would still have a legal right to remove you. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. What matters is that no one has a right to parasitically leech off of someone else's organs.
Where does I'm confused on where your rights are coming from. I don't understand your basis for human rights because under basic
I
natural
define
laws,
human rights. I define human rights as principles that we universally apply based on the outcomes that will lead to the least harm and the most flourishing.
Well, I respectfully, I don't think that's a great definition because no such thing is universally applied. I think our rights have to come from somewhere that we can understand, which is why I accept the natural law theory.
No, it's the person. No, the person takes their construct of human rights and applies it to all people. That's what it is. Human rights are something that has to exist within people's minds. You're never going to find two people who agree on them. If every single person disappeared tomorrow, the concept of human rights would also disappear. Okay, so we are talking about how a person's framework addresses human rights, and I find that the definition that I'm using here tends to apply in most cases for how people are actually using human rights when they say the word.
So you're I'm sorry. Like I said,
Do you have an argument for
I
why
struggle with stuff
someone should be allowed to parasitically leech off of someone else's organs?
I disagree with the framing. I don't think it's parasitic leeching, and
it's
I don't
literally parasitic. Like, I need you to understand that when I say the term parasitic, I'm not being metaphorical. I am being extremely literal. Biologically, it is parasitic.
Okay,
That's
define
not a
parasite.
moral judgment. It's just a fact.
But you're using it in a moral argument, so it's fair to bring it up and call it as a moral judgment.
No, I'm describing you the reality of it, and then I am making the judgment. The nature of the relationship, the fact that it is parasitic, is not the morality claim. It is just the fact that we are describing, and then I am making a determination about what a person is allowed to do with somebody else's thing there. But the fact, regardless of your stance on whether a person should or should not be allowed to get an abortion at any point, it is factual that a fetus is parasitic on the person gestating it.
Correct me if I'm mistaken, but doesn't the term parasite include foreign in its definition, that it is a foreign entity?
I've never seen that anywhere. I don't know where people keep getting that.
So I will to Ben's point, The definition of parasite biologically is that it's a different species than the host. However, Mephi has never
don't
called the
super
fetus a
care.
parasite. She said the relationship is parasitic.
Right. It's not a parasite, but to call it a parasitic definition plays on the
Nope.
definition of
Nope.
parasite.
A parasitic relationship doesn't need to be like, you can have a relationship with your parents that's parasitic. When we
Right,
say
like,
a parasitic
it's
relationship, we're
totally
just saying that
Right.
one party benefits
it's
grossly,
totally
like
irrelevant
in
to the
a super
actual
uneven to the
point,
other.
That's
right?
fair,
Like,
but
if
you could
your
also just
fetus,
call that a
if you got
breastfeeding
pregnant,
baby is
if you
parasitic, and by that same logic, you could kill it. Like, I mean,
no, because the
like, and
breastfeeding
I'm not.
baby
I know
isn't
your further argument
inside your
doesn't allow
body
for that.
requiring your organs specifically.
Sure, but if breastfeeding baby, you could make the same exact argument. In fact, I could just say that, like,
No, you
I have
can't,
kids.
because it's not inside your body connected to you.
What's the delineation there? I don't understand how that matters. You can disconnect the baby anytime post
Well, the
viability, and then it's
baby's
no
on
longer.
the outside, and you can take it off.
Okay, all right, hold on. I am not being snarky to you. You can relax. Like, we're having a cordial discussion. Like, I am just struggling to understand.
You can take the baby off. You are not obligated to give it your breast milk. You can give it something else. You also don't have to be a parent. We don't force parental rights on anyone. We don't force parental obligation on anybody, right? When
Mhm.
something is gestating inside of you, it is necessarily hooked up to your organs, and removing it from dependency on you is like the difference there really just is about for you whether or not it's going to be inside and able to maintain homeostasis on its own. But in either case, you're not obligated to use your organs to sustain this thing.
Okay. So can you help me understand where that obligation comes from when the baby's outside? So, like, okay, it's not hook up to me anymore. The right for abortion isn't there. Why does the obligation now exist for me to, or for really anybody, to provide that child with nutrients and what it needs to survive? Where does that obligation come from? Because you think that rights are intrinsic.
It's always had that. It's always had that. It just never had the right to parasitically leech off of someone else's organs. You can grant it personhood the whole time. I freaking wouldn't, because that's going to create an insane, complicated legal mess. But you could morally consider it that, sure. I don't super duper care about that, but we're talking about legal terms, and we're talking about the legality of it as well. Like, when we're talking about something having special rights is what we're talking about for a fetus. All right. It doesn't have the right to be hooked up to somebody's body parasitically. That is what I'm talking about. Okay. If you want to say that taking care of this thing while you're intending to take care of it, you probably should be, eating enough food and whatnot. Okay. And then once it's born, somebody should be giving it food. It has a right to life, but it's able to maintain homeostasis on its own, and it's not inside of someone's body.
Interesting.
It's not getting
By the way,
special rights before birth.
Yeah. Quick interjection. You guys have been fantastic. I don't have to leave yet, but I just say you guys are great. I have another quick thought. What is what then would be the case that, okay, it doesn't have the right to parasitically leech off of you. So let's just say, in this instance, and we're dealing in the realm of hypotheticals, I'm not saying this happens, but a woman just decides, this thing doesn't have the right to leech off of me. I'm going to smoke meth, get it out. Not a problem.
The way to get an abortion safely in a way that is actually going to be healthy for you is going to be to go to a doctor, which is why we need to make it so that people are able to go to the doctor and get abortions instead of having to resort to things like taking illegal drugs or doing back alley abortions, as it were, to take control of their own bodies.
Okay, but morally, there's no problem, right? Like, health-wise, there's obviously problems with smoking meth, but morally, there's no problem.
Here's the issue, Ben. Here's the issue. In order to have a conversation about why that's not wrong, we'd have to move back to the personhood argument, which you weren't able to, which you didn't want to have.
Yeah.
I just wanted to lay on this one, but I don't know that I didn't want to have it.
This argument. So I've been letting Mephi sort of do this one because like this argument means nothing to me because I don't consider a fetus a person. So I don't give a fuck what happens to it. It's not a person.
Yeah.
You could throw a fetus off a cliff and I'm going to just go about my day, you know? Just like you threw a rock over a cliff.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider it a person before it has sentience, but I know that like that is difficult to sell to people who are so religiously brainwashed that they think that God has breathed a magic little soul into it at the moment that it starts cell dividing for some reason. But you know, people like that aren't going to understand it when you start talking about how their God is apparently killing like 40% of those fetuses before implantation.
It's pretty simple. If it's not a person, who cares? If it is a person, then there's harm. And now there's an issue because there's unjustified harm because it's now a person.
Right, but your definition of personhood is arbitrary. I mean, you say sentient.
Every definition of personhood is arbitrary.
Well, mine definitions are never going to be biological life.
Biological life is also arbitrary, friend.
Yeah.
At what point?
Under that definition, Under that definition, a tumor is a person.
At what point of biological life does it become a person? Is it implantation? Is it just insemination? Like, at what specific point does that biological life become a person? Pregnancy is a multi-stage process.
Good question.
I would say sperm people.
What's that?
Sperm are alive. Are sperm people?
No.
Okay, how about a single cell zygote?
People. I would. What is can you tell me what a zygote is?
That's the sperm has
just
met with the egg.
Like just met and it's actually reacted with it, or it's just.
Dog, you trying to have an abortion conversation? You don't know what a zygote is?
You don't know what a zygote,
buddy.
Well, no, I'm saying scientifically. I've heard of a zygote. Obviously, I graduated biology class, but when it comes down to the scientific definition, which is
a zygote is the singular. It's the singular cell once the sperm and egg fuse. It's when it's still a singular cell.
Okay, and they've fused by this point. It's one cell.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I would say that is an individual human being.
Okay.
Seems kind of arbitrary, don't you think?
Nope.
Let me ask you a question.
Why?
Do you mourn all the human deaths? Most pregnancies, most zygotes do not implant into the uterus. Do you mourn those deaths?
Oh, yeah, dude. It's tragic.
Do they go to heaven?
I don't know. I haven't really brought up religion in this debate, so I don't know if they go to heaven or not. But
I mean, I'm just curious.
It's like 50%.
Yeah, I don't
know that, right? It's like 50% of zygotes don't implant.
Oh, yeah, dude. The amount of like chemical pregnancies is insane. Like, I have so many people who have tried to get pregnant and have suffered from so many chemical pregnancies. My wife and I, fortunately, have not. But yeah, it's a lot.
But so a chemical pregnancy is not the same as not implanting. They're not the same, even remotely close.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Correct. Do you know the time frame of when most zygotes don't implant? Like the time frame from when the zygote is formed to when it implants?
Yeah, enlighten me.
Okay. So when you have a zygote, hold on. I want to pull up the exact time so that you have the exact number. It's like within 6 to 10 days of the zygote forming. Most chemical pregnancies happen within the first 5 weeks. So like,
oh, interesting. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so a zygote implanting is what signifies to your body that you are pregnant. So like most people don't even know that they're pregnant. Like they don't know, and like the zygote just passes. So there's no there's nothing. So this is why I'm saying like 50% of all pregnancies do not implant.
That's tragic.
What's tragic about it specifically?
Well, under my view, they are human beings. So
yeah, but that doesn't tell me what's tragic about it.
I don't think that you're actually.
Dude, human beings dying. I get sad every time human beings die.
All right. So, quick question.
Why don't you think I'm
Ben.
considering them as
Ben,
humans?
no, Ben, because I think that if you were in a burning building and you had the option to save either 50 single cell zygotes or a single born human baby, you're going to choose the born human baby.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, if like, of course, I'm going to choose the born
So,
human baby.
yeah. So, under your worldview, you just chose to let 50 babies die to save one baby. That math doesn't make any sense under what you just told us.
Well, I mean, by the math, apparently half of them aren't even going to live anyway. So there's that. Also, I feel like that, like,
Yeah, that's a
as far as
problem for your
hypotheticals
worldview.
go, it's not. I mean,
Yes,
would I
it is.
rather like?
You consider it a full human being. If you consider it a full human being, why aren't you treating it as equally to a born human baby?
If I consider it a full human being, why am I not considering it the same as a born human baby? Because the likelihood of survival for the born human baby is much higher than the others. Simple as that. So if I save the 50, the likelihood of survival is very low.
So,
Okay, let me ask you. But I want to just. Can you tell me,
Yeah.
Ben,
Mhm.
why killing a human is wrong?
Yeah, because of. Well, hold on. Can I give you a quote that I fully agree with that would formulate my opinion?
We can see. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is from John Locke. It's the state of nature has a law of nature to govern it, which obliges everyone. And reason, which is that law, teaches all mankind, but who will but consult it, that being all equal and independent, no one ought to harm another in his life, health, liberty, or possessions.
So this didn't actually answer my question, though, Ben. My question is, why is it wrong to kill a human being?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll break down that quote a little bit. So the idea
Ben, I understand
is
the quote.
that there.
I'm saying it doesn't answer the why of it. It doesn't answer the why of it. It's just sort of reasserting that it's wrong to do it.
Well, it does because it says no one ought to harm another in his life.
Yes, but it's not giving you a no. Whoa. Yeah, no, that's not giving a reason. That's making a statement. What is the why of the ought, buddy?
Because the state of nature has a law of nature to govern it, and that law of nature concerns everyone.
So this is
the natural law theory of John Locke.
Wait. I know what natural law is. My issue with natural law is that it's just making presuppositions here. You're just presupposing. It's wrong because, or you're essentially just going, that's not an appeal to nature. Well, it's not. He didn't do an appeal to nature. Mods. Mods were throwing a fallacy check. That wasn't an appeal to nature. That's natural law is not an appeal to nature. You're essentially saying it is just ontologically wrong to do this thing, but you're not engaging in in like this thought experiment that I'm having with you. So let's walk through a few of these things really quickly. Let's say you have a 20-year-old man and he has a twin. There's two 20-year-old men. One of them is running through a park and the other is sitting brain dead in a hospital bed. Now, both of their bodies are still alive. Would it be wrong if I pulled the plug on him as a brain dead person versus if I pulled the plug on versus if I shoot him in the head while he's running down the street?
I would say, wait, you're saying if you shoot the better off brother versus pulling the plug, are you saying which is more wrong or is either wrong?
Do these hold the exact same moral weight?
I kind of think so. To be clear, I have a little bit of a problem with the analogy, but I hate picking on analogies too hard. But I think that yes, they're both wrong.
So they both hold the exact same moral weight. So a person who's in a brain dead state, who's in a hospital bed, we should just keep their bodies alive indefinitely.
I don't know about indefinitely.
Well, why wouldn't we do it? If it's wrong to pull the plug on them, why wouldn't we keep them alive indefinitely?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I misunderstood. As far as pulling the plug, they have. I'm not going to hyperpick this analogy. I don't think it is wrong to let them die naturally. I don't think that's wrong.
So it's okay. So two things I want to point out here. Their bodies are still alive. They are still living. You're saying it's not wrong to let their bodies die because their bodies cannot maintain homeostasis on their own.
Sorry, say that again.
The claim you're making now, or that I want to boil down on now, is you're saying it's even though their bodies are living, their bodies can't maintain homeostasis when you pull that plug. That plug is doing the homeostasis for them. It is okay to let their bodies die because they cannot maintain that homeostasis on their own.
Yeah, sure. I would say so. I do think that, like, I do think, you get the life that you get, and that's what's been given to you.
So
I believe I understand where you're going with this.
Well, yeah, I just want to know why it would be wrong to stop a fetus from being able to use the woman's body to maintain homeostasis over it, instead of just letting it what it would do naturally if it were on its own, which is die.
Yeah, because on its own, naturally, it actually wouldn't be out of the womb.
Whoa, on its own, it would die. It's only alive because the woman is doing, or the pregnant person is doing, extraordinary measures, more than what she usually would, to keep it alive.
Yeah, but that is the natural process. I think if you were to go out of your way to kill the man who's
what if she doesn't? Wait. You just said if you go out of your way, pulling the plug would be going out of your way. But if he's already on the machines, pulling the plug is going out of the way. But I want to continue down this rabbit hole here. What if the pregnant person does not eat enough to give the fetus nutrients, and so the fetus just dies because she only eats enough to sustain her body, not enough to give nutrients to the fetus? Is that wrong?
I think so.
But she's not going out of her way to kill the fetus. She's just not providing it. Dude. No, she isn't. I'm sorry. It's going out of her way to not do something?
Yeah, she's going out of her way to provide herself enough nutrients, but not the baby. She's going to have a natural body response.
So then wait. So then you would have to concede that it is okay, or that it is sorry, let me reset my brain here.
Wrong.
You would have to concede that it's also wrong to pull the plug on the brain dead person.
No, because that's an unnatural intervention in a person's natural death.
Okay.
If the person has very little chance of coming
you have moved to making an appeal to nature fallacy. This is now what it is that it's wrong because it's not natural.
I genuinely don't know this. Can you tell me what's wrong with appealing to nature? Is this like the whole is ought?
Okay.
Something being natural doesn't inherently make it good.
Yeah, you're making a moral claim based on like, it's on the screen for anybody also that wants to know. An appeal to nature is just saying that something is good or right on the grounds that it's natural, which is not the case.
Yeah, it's natural. So, the natural world would have people would just get sick and die. We wouldn't do medicine to keep them alive. We wouldn't build houses or create conditions where people who are disabled can survive. Right. That's not natural, but it's good.
Right, but again, I'm talking morally here. Okay, so a person, we know that people are
nature
born
into the moral
and
discussion. That's explaining the problem with bringing nature into the moral discussion.
Right. Okay, so we know that people are born and that people die, and if a person in their course of life and to become brain dead, I want to try and keep them alive, but I don't think that it is our
but hold on.
duty. I don't think from a deal.
What I need you to do, Ben, I need you to analyze this. Why is it that if I have somebody who I pull the plug on when they're brain dead and they die, why is that not morally wrong versus, let's say I have somebody on a dialysis machine and I pull the plug on them, like they're on a machine, like they're still conscious, they're still talking and they're doing all this, but they still are hooked up to a machine that's keeping them alive. They can't maintain homeostasis. So I pull that machine and I let them die. You've said the reason here, that the reason that pulling the plug on a brain dead person is not wrong, is because their body will just naturally die. This person will also just naturally die. So why would one of these be wrong and not the other?
That is a great argument. Okay, so you're right. Based on my former statement, that's not correct. The way I view brain deadness, and correct me if I'm mistaken, is that once you're brain dead, you really don't come back from being brain dead. Now, am I wrong on that?
You're not.
We're looking
You're not.
for a
Brain
magic
dead.
word here.
Brain
It
dead
starts
makes
with an
you.
E.
Yeah, brain dead makes you fully dead. Why is
Okay,
it
so-
that we treat a brain dead person as fully dead, even though their bodies can still be living? Something is now missing from the brain dead person that the other person has, which is why we no longer grant that brain dead person moral consideration. What is it that's missing?
I don't know.
Starts
feel
with
like
an
you-
S.
I don't know.
Starts with an S. I said it at the very start of my argument.
Sentience?
There you go. A brain
Yeah.
dead person, they lack sentience. They lack the ability to have any sort of subjective experience. So we treat them differently than a creature that does have sentience, because we recognize that what we value is your subjective ability to experience. So when we
Well, certainly you can't value a person's subjective ability to experience, because I don't think there's much of a way to confirm that.
we can absolutely confirm sentience. You can do it with a simple brain scan. How do you think we can tell when a person's brain dead and not just like in a coma? We just do a brain scan.
Well, you said there's subjective ability to experience, right?
So all I mean by subjective experience is it's an experience within their own mind. It's subjective to their
Okay.
mind. That's all I mean.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because I know that
Well,
sentience is the
so
thing
then-
that makes it important, why would I treat a
Mhm.
creature that does not have sentience, that also doesn't have this ability to experience, why would I give them moral consideration when I already know that when a creature loses that, I remove their moral consideration? Why would I now give them moral
Correct.
consideration before they even get that?
Yeah, that's a great argument. What if you knew, though, however, that let's say there's a new drug, okay, and it's sort of whatever. There's a new drug that comes out and it says, hey, these brain dead people, we might be able to bring them back, and you're giving them the drugs, and you actually start to see some of that sentience being reformed. Now, again, I don't really know how the brain scans work, but let's just say we're starting to see a little bit more activity, and we're thinking, hey, we can bring back this person from brain deadness.
Here's the answer to you. Here's the answer to you. In the period before they get their brain deadness back, like I'll grant you this hypothetical. Impossible.
Mhm.
There would be no way physically for this
Right,
to
of
work.
course.
But I'll grant you
Yeah.
this super hypothetical X-Men world scenario, right? Up until they receive sentience back, if somebody were to walk in and kill them, they still didn't kill them. They didn't kill that person. That
man.
person didn't die. A body died. And if you give a fuck about bodies, okay, bodies, I don't. Like, a body died, but that person is already gone. That
Mhm.
person's gone. Even if you happen to bring them their sentience back, the person that they were is not coming back. That person's gone. But the brain dead person, the person that is there, this is why personhood, I type personhood to sentience. The person
Mhm.
that is there is gone. I'll hit you back with a different crazy out the box hypothetical if you can walk through this thought experiment for me.
Yeah, totally.
Let's say I take your brain and everything that you are, right? And I take your
Mhm.
brain and I remove your conscious experience out of that brain fully, right? I take this conscious experience, I have some way of doing this, and I slap it in a robot. And then I create some artificial intelligence that is super rudimentary. It is like essentially an android, and I put that in your body, right? So you and all that you are is in the robot, and
Mhm.
this robotic programming is in you. The robotic programming has no free will, it has no thoughts, it has none of that. It's just a program. By your standard, I can destroy that robot you anytime I want. And I've done nothing immoral but I can never touch that body that is autonomous, that like automaton in your body. I can never touch that, but I can destroy you anytime I want.
Yeah. Is there a question with it?
Well,
like,
the
how do
thought
I feel about
experiment,
that?
the thought experiment is like square this circle, square this with your worldview. Why it would be okay to destroy everything that you actually are, but it's not
Mhm.
okay to destroy this robot that just happens to be in a meat suit.
Yeah. So I will give a teaser for why, because I think that will start a new rabbit trail. You guys have been amazing to me, and my wife just got home, so I gotta take care of her. She's actually 38 weeks pregnant, so I definitely need to tend to her. But the teaser for why is because I believe in the sort of the formulation of Augustine and Aquinas that a human being is comprised of mind, body, and soul. And so if I were to go down that route, we would be starting a whole new rabbit trail of like, well, this is a new argument introduced. It's a new thing. You guys have been great.
Well,
You
real
definitely give me
quick,
a lot to
real
think about.
quick,
Yeah.
real quick. I know we've been on this call for a
Mhm.
minute now, but
Yeah.
Ben, what is your policy prescription here?
It depends. I don't think politics is so black and white.
I'm not talking
It
about
depends on
politics.
what
I'm
was put.
talking you're president. You can tell Congress to pass XYZ bill, or you want them to pass XYZ bill to do what regulating abortion?
Full-throated approval of everyone.
So
Like
no
just in this
restrictions on
hypothetical.
abortion.
No, hold on. I meant full-throated approval of the populace. Like everybody agrees on this.
No.
Okay, then
You're
it depends on what was
You're
like.
president. You have the power.
Mhm.
You're guided by your morals, aren't you? So what policy would you like to implement?
Okay, so the reason I'm not giving you this distinct answer is because in politics, it again is not so black and white. I don't like the moral argument
Ben,
fully in
I'm going to
politics
be
because
real
you
with you.
have to
This
make
is a cowardly
compromises.
answer. Ben, I'm going to be real with you. This is a cowardly answer because I get people calling up into my streams and they want to talk about abortion. They never want to talk in real terms. They never want to talk about people's actual outcomes and how these laws actually affect people. It's always just this land of outlandish hypotheticals and where the moral consideration starts, but it's never about what we can actually do as human beings to produce the best outcomes for the real people who are alive. And the fact that you don't have a stance on that, but you'd still want to talk about this issue, just strikes me as extremely cowardly.
But you gave me two conflicting positions. You said you won't give a stance on a moral absolute, but you aren't willing to do what you can right now. That's why
No,
I'm asking. Is it what I could achieve right now, or is it what is perfect in my moral framework?
What is the policy
yes, and I'm asking,
that you support here?
And do you understand why certain policies I wouldn't accept under certain conditions? For example, I will give you one right now. When Roe v. Wade was overturned, Senator Lindsey Graham, he introduced, I don't know if he introduced, but he at least speculated on a 15-week nationwide abortion ban. Now, I'll be honest with you. Your mods, the mods picked up and they said, "Are you pro-life?" And I said,
he went and got one himself.
He didn't get an abortion; he just died. Anyway,
I know that's a joke,
but he I specifically call myself anti-abortion instead of pro-life because I want to be clear in my terms. I am not in favor of abortion. I opposed that at the time. It was not a good time. There was a lot of fire, and I don't think that would have been good for people who were already very scared about what this meant.
Ben,
so I don't think at that time a 15-week abortion ban makes sense.
I'm not asking you about your opinion on Lindsey Graham.
But you're asking for my policy.
No, I'm asking for your policy prescription. Yes, you're talking about other people's policy prescriptions. What is yours? You can introduce a constitutional amendment tomorrow.
Under the current political climate.
No, under your ideal government.
I am trying to lay out the context so I know how to answer. I can give you an answer.
Under your ideal government.
Okay, so
What
under
is the
my new
policy
government,
that
I
you would
have
like people to get behind? What is the policy that you are pushing for long term, your ideal world? What is it that
okay.
you want the government to do about abortion?
Yes. Okay. Long term, that's great. So let's say 50 years in the future. Okay. If culture has shifted the way I hope it does, I would like there
Great.
to no longer be the intentional killing of a fetus for any reason. Now, medical
Okay.
necessity
That's
is
fucked up.
different. Great. If you have a moral framework to make that, cool. I will consider it. But yeah, that is my moral belief, and it was presented through John Locke's natural law.
Yeah.
Like
Let's
that is
talk
what I
about
believe. I believe
what
all
that
human
sort of
beings have human
actual.
rights.
No, no, no. Let's talk about how that policy actually gets implemented in real life because we
Hold on,
see
I'm sorry.
policies. No, I'm talking. I'm still talking because
I
when I ask
understand, and
you
I
about
told
what
you
your
a while
ideal
ago that I
government
wanted
does,
to
I'm
go.
not asking you to change. Hey, I'm not asking you to change the laws of reality. I'm asking what the policy that you're pushing for is. Okay. And I'm talking about medical facts now. I'm talking about what actually happens when you implement laws like that. Okay. You put insurmountable barriers between the people who do medically need that care and the care itself, because the process of determining whether or not that abortion is quote unquote necessary, okay, is the kind of burdensome legal process that is simply insurmountable for most people who are trying to get an abortion. You're talking about the kind of thing that it is currently causing doctors to have to delay giving care until someone has sepsis in order for it to count as life-threatening. You're talking about the kind of restrictions that cause people to not be able to get them because they would have to go to a court and prove rape or prove medical necessity. There is no feasible way to actually do that that is going to be actually doable under the way that you want, short of mind reading. Okay?
I asked you if I could define what I wanted, and you didn't let me do that. So now you're saying this is what you want, and you're making stuff up. I don't like that. If somebody
No,
needs
I'm
to get
not
a
making stuff
medical
up. I
abortion,
asked you what
well,
your
let me
ideal
finish my
policy
thought
would
here.
be, and
Let
you
me
told
finish
me.
my thought here. You interrupted. Let me finish my thought here. In this instance about medically necessary abortions, if that's the case, here's my threshold for entry. Either one or two reports from a doctor that it's medically necessary. And I know the risks that come with that. There will be politically motivated doctors who will say, yeah, I'll just prescribe that to anyone. I'm okay with taking that risk at this point. That's why I asked about policy and context. You talk about they have legal hurdles. I don't want that in my system. That's why I
Except
asked about it in the
you
first
can't
place.
put a ban on it. You can't put a ban on doing these things without the legal hurdles. Otherwise, you're just talking about no restrictions at all.
Do you hear the
No, no, no.
context
If
that
a
I'm adding?
doctor has to make that determination, then they are going to need to be legally sure that that determination is not going to be challenged at risk of losing their medical license, like they are doing now, right? I hate to break it to you, but your ideal policy is already in effect in a lot of places. And I'm telling you the way that it actually pans out in real life.
Okay, you keep talking about my ideal policy without listening to what my ideal policy is. I don't
No,
know
I'm
where you're
listening to
getting
your
this
ideal
from.
policy.
Take the
You're
Ben
just
out
not
of your
liking the
brain that is in there
implications
talking
of
to you
your real
right now.
policy.
All right,
Put the Ben talking to you over the phone.
we're gonna cut it there because Ben, you said you had to go, and
Okay.
at this point, we're just going in circles.
Yes, I will say just very quickly, thank you guys both. I know it got heated at the end. It was fun. You guys were very nice, and you know your stuff. Thank you very much.
All right.
They don't like the implications of their actual policy. It drives me insane.
So
they're never willing to talk about real life.
Yeah, but the problem is, as I think at the end, it just became when I have someone like Ben, right, who is trying to take it more from the moral route. I always like to see where try to meet the callers where they're at, if they're a good faith caller. Like, I don't think Ben was a bad faith caller, so I like to see where they're at and then meet them there. The problem with trying to bring the real world stuff up with Ben is Ben already told us at the start that he's religious. He views it from a theistic lens. He views it from a foundationally this religious backing, right? So to him and to most people like him, like, because I don't think most people who are pro-life are these super Christo-fascists. Like, most of them just legitimately believe you're killing a person and they think you're killing someone. So to a lot of these people, even if we bring up real world examples, they're just in their mind, yeah, there might be a few deaths from real world examples, like maybe the maternal mortality rate goes up a little bit when we do an abortion, but when we get rid of abortions, but I'm saving 6 million lives. So that's when you have somebody who's coming at it foundationally from that lens, bringing up the real world examples isn't really going to do much, because they believe that all of that all the harm that comes from banning abortion is justified because in their mind they're doing this amount of good. So it's you've got to take the argument with somebody like Ben into it, the moral argument, because that's you have to convince them to let go of their it's immoral basically fantasies and whatnot.
Yeah, I hear you there. I just think it's important to sort of like call me crazy, but I think it's important that sometimes these people actually get the harsh confrontation with what it is that they're actually proposing on the real world around them. And like, I don't think that a lot of these folks do actually understand the maternal mortality stakes and whatnot. I think a lot of them are sheltered from that information.
They might not, but again, it's not if you have someone like, again, if it's not somebody like Ben, right? Because there are multiple different like people who are pro-life. If they have like a genuine moral block is the word I'll use. I feel like my fucking vocabulary has gotten worse, chat. I don't know what's been happening to me. If they have like a moral opposition, just in general, like Ben, they believe that you are killing a human life. Every consequence, if they're trolley probleming in it, every consequence is outweighed by the amount of abortions that are happening, which is why itching them down slowly to, oh, it's not actually killing a human life, it's not actually killing a person, itching that down slowly is where we're going to see more movement on someone like Ben. Not necessarily movement in other regards, but on someone like Ben, the movement is going to be getting them out of the mindset that killing a fetus is wrong at all.
Yeah, fair. That's a fair point.
Okay.
Do you mind if I take a quick bio break?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alrighty, I'll be right back.
Chat. What are y'all doing, chat? We got a bunch of calls now. An office hours call, another abortion call. Are y'all all calling about abortion today? What did something happen? Like, oh well, there was that news. Who was it? Whose audio just dropped? Who was it? It was Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche just had a leaked audio where he said that they are going to essentially, did you guys hear it? Hold on, let me play it.
The job as the acting attorney general, and Attorney General Bondi before me was bringing back regularity to the Department of Justice and the government when it comes to protecting religious liberty. And we're not done. We have a lot of work to do with some of the policies around pro-life and some of the pro-abortion work that the Biden administration and the Justice Department allowed to happen. Some of that is taking longer than we want, but rest assured that we're working, hand in hand with HHS and the FDA and the White House and President Trump's team to get permanent solutions so that the Dobbs decision becomes permanent in every single state.
This motherfucker Todd Blanche, bro. This is
Oh, yeah,
my bigger
the Todd Blanche
issue.
audio?
Yeah, this is my bigger issue, chat, is just like the just straight up like that people fucking every person when Roe v. Wade was overturned, every single motherfucker who debated me on it. We just wanted states' rights, states' rights. I'm like, no, you don't fucking give a fuck about states' rights. Shut up. That has no fucking bearing. As soon as they have the power to do so, they are going to federally ban it. And now guess what they're doing. Guess what they're
Literally,
gonna do.
Lindsey Graham jumped the gun on that.
Julian, I see you're an office hours call. This should be like super quick, actually. Julian, from Illinois. Julian, I see exactly what you're calling about. I have to actually see if Jimmy is going to post my most recent LineCon talk, which is quite literally about the exact thing you're calling about. And if he's not, then I can just post the entire PowerPoint presentation, which is quite literally how to talk somebody into radicalization without ever using the word socialism or communism.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. I'll keep you updated on whether or not about what Jimmy says about if he's going to post the LineCon talk, and if not, I'll just drop the presentation at some point.
Hey, I appreciate it, Jovan. You may hear from my husband about different things, but he's not feeling like calling today. But maybe later he'll call you guys.
All right, no problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was super simple. What is call 18? What is, or not call 18? Yes, call 18. I don't wait. I'm gonna take this because I'm just so confused. Charlie from Maine. Calling in about topic 6, abortion, all 9 months. Charlie, can I just get your age and pronouns first?
Yeah. I'm 18. He, him, his.
Okay. Charlie, I don't think you disagree because I also
No, I was.
So I'm
sorry.
Go ahead.
I didn't have. I don't want abortion all 9 months. I think abortion should be illegal after like brainwaves. That's what.
Why would we wait? Hold on. Do you believe medical abortions are fine at all times throughout the pregnancy?
What are you saying is a medical because
like if there is no abortion, the woman will die.
I'd say that's fine.
Okay. Do you agree that an induction in a cesarean section would also be fine?
Where like a cesarean section where the fetus is spared or not?
Yeah, if she doesn't want to be pregnant anymore, they just take the fetus out of her because it's past the point of sentience, which aligns with the point of viability.
And the fetus ends up dying here.
No, why would it die? Sentience and viability are aligned. They occur at the same time.
So there's no abortion in this case. The fetus
abortion is just the termination of a pregnancy. That's the medical definition of it. That's what we're talking about when we talk about abortion.
So
it's important that we understand what abortion is for when we're talking about the implications in the real world.
Okay, yeah. So what is happening to the fetus? I guess
after 24 weeks, the point of sentience / viability, they're about the same. It's going to be that if somebody wants to get an abortion, the process that they're going to do to remove the fetus from the body is going to be inducing birth or getting a cesarean section, both of which are going to focus on preserving the life of the fetus. The only reason that the life of the fetus would be terminated is if it's going to not survive outside on its own anyway, like if it's developed without kidneys.
So you're just giving birth, basically. but in a non-birth way.
Yeah, we can use like
C-section.
Oxford Medical Dictionary. Literally, the abortion is defined very simply: the removal of an embryo or a fetus from the uterus. That's it.
Okay, so you're just removing it to live in the world, to live peacefully in the world.
Yeah, after the point of sentience, if somebody wants to remove a fetus from their body, they just take it out.
Okay, so and then what happens to it?
Whatever happens to anything.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
if they want to keep the baby, they keep the baby. If they don't want to keep the baby, it goes to the state.
Okay, so the state is it's like an adoption situation. Is what you're saying?
If they don't want to keep the baby, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. I had I guess I disagreed with the earlier arguments which were being made about was it I think I forgot what your name is, but one of you said it was a parasitic relationship.
Well, by the definition of what a parasitic relationship is, it is a parasitic relationship when you have a
so just remind me, what is the definition of a parasitic relationship?
A parasitic relationship would just be a relationship that benefits one to an extreme over the other. It's not a mutually beneficial relationship.
Sorry? So
a parasitic
it
relationship. Mephi, are you still here? Your camera froze. Oh, we might have lost Mephi.
So one would
see if we get her
a student
back.
is in a parasitic relationship with their teacher.
A student is in a parasitic relationship with their teacher.
Yeah, because the student is benefiting the most, right?
Well, the teacher's benefiting because they're getting paid.
Oh, okay, sure. All right. Let's just say, okay, right. A parent, right, is in a parasitic relationship with a child.
Well, the parent would be receiving some sort of like emotional. There you are. Depending on the parent, yes, they may view a child as parasitic, but it would just depend on the parent. You know, this is why but I think parents who view their children as parasitic should not be parents. They should give the kid up. You know, but yeah, depending on the parent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a parent, well, it could be at different times. It's a parasitic relationship. So parasitic relationships, they should not happen.
Parasitic relationship should not happen. I wouldn't make an ought claim on parasitic relationships. I would say they're a thing that exists, and that people should be able to get out of them if they want to. You know?
They should be, and what is the barometer? Like what is the level? Like how do you determine when someone should be able to get out of a parasitic relationship or not? Right.
I think somebody should almost always be able to get out of a parasitic
relationship. What level
relationship.
of harm caused the other parties, right?
Well, if it's a person, you would do it without causing like physical harm to them, right? You might cause some emotional harm. But like,
what is the difference
between physical and emotional harm?
Why one over the other? Why one over
because
the other?
Physical harm physically hurts.
And emotional harm emotionally hurts. So what's the difference?
Yeah, but we as people can't avoid emotional harm. That's like unavoidable.
And we as people can't avoid physical harm either.
You can avoid physical harm for the most part. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You've never like stubbed your toe or like, I don't know, like done anything which is physically painful. I mean, like we live in the world.
What is this question? Yes, you can primarily avoid
the distinction between physical and emotional harm.
If we're talking about the type of harm inflicted by another person, yes, you can avoid physical harm from other people. You can never avoid emotional harm from. There will always be a likelihood of being emotionally harmed by another person, but you can avoid being physically harmed by other people.
It's only from people, right? It's only from people we're talking about.
We're talking about parasitic relationships between people.
I mean,
at no point is there another person involved in me stubbing my toe.
From all things. Emotional harm doesn't come from people.
Charlie, if we are talking, the context of the conversation is about the harm done by ending a parasitic relationship. So why would I at any point be talking about something other than the harm that a person would do to a person when they are ending said relationship?
Well, okay. Suppose like the harm another person, like, so what you just said is the harm person gives to another when they're ending their parasitical relationship. So not all of that. So are you saying all the harm is like that like happens from the end of this relationship is caused by a person? Caused by a person. That's what you're saying, right? It's all personal. It's all caused by human.
If we're talking
not
about
by
the
environment,
ending of
not
a
by things,
parasitic
right?
relationship, yes, that would be directly.
Okay. So suppose, let me give you
And that's
example,
only
right?
if this one gives harm. Yeah, why don't you give an example? Because what you're saying is not making any
Okay,
sense.
yeah. So your
this is here.
parents hate you, or maybe let's not make it personal. There's a person, there's a kid, whose parents view his relationship with them as parasitical, right? And so they give him up to the state, right? Okay. As such, the state's its adoption facilities are not known to be the most well funded. It's a pretty well known fact. And so because of that, they suffer emotional harm. Let's just say loneliness, right? Because they're
You know that
put
parents
into
just
a
hating their
situation,
kids
right?
is not a parasitic relationship.
Sorry?
A parent just hating their child is not a parasitic relationship.
It's a parasitic relationship for the parents. I mean, the child is one benefiting.
Do you think a child benefits from their parent hating them?
No, he's
They
saying the child would
benefit
be
from
benefiting
being
from.
fed.
Wait, but if the parents hate the kids, are they actually taking care of the kids? Is the kid actually benefiting if the parents hate them?
Yeah, let's just assume they are. They assume
Why would
the kid is the one benefiting the most.
What?
We can just assume.
Charlie. What overall point are you trying to make with these?
We're
these
just
questions?
discussing parasitical relationship. We're discussing.
No, but why?
Whether,
why are we walking down the pedantic? No. Listen. Stop.
Charlie.
Why are we walking down the pedantry of what is or is not a parasitic relationship when you agree with the overall position here?
I don't want any pedantry here.
That's
please
what this
define what
is.
a parasitical relationship is for me.
Yeah, but now you're trying to like the conversation isn't about parasitic relationships. So it's pedantry to try to boil down to that on like in fucking infinitesimal level.
So what we were talking about, I for one thought we were talking about, as you probably know, parasitical relationships. I was referring to the earlier point made earlier in the show.
I don't care whether the relationship is or is not parasitic. Do you agree with the abortion stance?
I think that you should not be able to, like, if you consider a fetus to be sentient, right? You should not be able to abort it and end its life.
Why can you not take it out of your body if it's sentient?
What?
Why can't someone take it out of their body if it's sentient?
Well, the argument being made earlier in the show, if you remember, was
Are you talking about the argument that I made?
Oh my God. Can you just tell me
that one?
Can you just tell me what would be the harm? Like, what's the problem? What is the moral issue with taking it out of your body if it's sentient? What's the issue?
If it's viable outside, if you take it out, and there's no issue with that, there's no problem for me.
Then you agree with our abortion stance, Charlie.
I was arguing against the argument being made by your co-host.
Okay, Charlie, that's pedantry, and I don't want to do pedantry. Goodbye.
Yeah,
that's pedantic. I don't care about the pedantry.
People
that's
get really
as fuck.
upset, but like, it's literally just what it is. It's something that is attached to your body, and it's using your nutrients, right? Like the idea that it's not of a different species is at all relevant to the medical fact that abortion is a pregnancy is a parasitic relationship between a fetus and the person gestating it is crazy.
Maybe it might be better to use like codependent relationship.
But it's not codependent though, because only one of them needs the other.
Oh, true. I haven't referred to Like I've been debating abortion for a long fucking time. I don't usually, just because it runs down these tangents, is they like latch on. This is what I'm talking about, the pedantry. He agreed with our stance, but he just wanted to find something to debate. I don't care if it's parasitic or not. Like, it could be fruitful. You could actually, and this might be a better reason why I don't use it. It could be the case that if in a hypothetical world that a pregnancy actually, like, the fetus gives the woman more, right? The person who's pregnant could receive more, and they would still have a right to remove it if they don't want it in their body. So it's just, I don't know why he was being so pedantic on that shit. It's just like, who cares?
Yeah. Because it's about a person's right to bodily autonomy. It's about the person's right to decide what's happening with their body, even if, regardless of what effect it's going to have on that person, right? Or the person that they're booting out of it.
Yep. Damn, more people have called in. It's been a good day for callers. I haven't had a good day like this in like a week. Oh my God, another abortion call.
We got a trans call.
And we got a trans call. We're gonna take, here's the order. So people listening on the phone lines, you're gonna know the order right now. I'm gonna take Larry, then I'm gonna take Justin, then I'm gonna take Faith, so that you guys know what number you are in line. Okay. So coming up next is Larry from California. Larry from California to talk about trans men and women, are men and women. Topic number 1. Larry, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Yes, I can hear you. I'm 29. He, him.
Okay, cool.
Hey, I'm 29 too. Let's go.
And I'm big old age of 33. Larry, we believe trans men and women are men and women. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
How do you define a man or a woman then? If they are a man or a woman.
You want my definition? My definition is goated, by the way. Shout out to all the people who consistently use my definition online. I see it.
It's me. I'm the person who uses Javon's definition.
Shout out Katie, my friend Katie, for coming up with it. I don't want to take my non-binary person's fucking claim to fame here. I've just popularized it. But I would define a woman as an adult human whose gender identity aligns with their personal schema on the female sex.
Okay, where do you get that definition from?
It's just from an
the way
understanding
that
of
actually works in reality.
Yeah, it's just an understanding of the neurological and psychological makeup of the human brain.
Well, because I heard you in the last conversation invoke the Oxford Dictionary.
So, we invoked a medical dictionary because we were debating a medical procedure. So medical procedures, hold on, Larry, hold on. Medical procedures have prescriptive definitions because people have to know what those procedures are. They're very specific. English language dictionaries have descriptive definitions. They don't prescribe any sort of correctness. They just describe how people commonly tend to use a word.
Well, they define words, and it's a noun, which
Definitions.
has a definition.
Okay, what comes first, Larry? The word or the definition? Like in history of language, does the word come first or does the definition come first?
The word would come first to describe something.
And then the definition describes how people are using the word currently. It doesn't prescribe how the word has to be used. It doesn't give any level of correctness. It just describes how people at any given time are using the words. This is why dictionaries have to update themselves, because people will use words differently, or they'll start using new words. So the dictionary like Oxford literally describes itself as a descriptive dictionary. Now, there are two prescriptive dictionaries. Those would be medical dictionaries and law dictionaries, because they have to specifically say this is what this is. So, and even some medical dictionaries aren't really prescriptive. Some are going to be more descriptive. And actually, it might get more descriptive to say medical coding, and like billing coding is more prescriptive. But like language dictionaries are just descriptive dictionaries. So like the correctness of a dictionary is not a thing when we talk about like a learner's dictionary, because if everybody in society started using the word cat, and tomorrow every single person in the world started defining cat as a floating ball of fur in the sky, the dictionary would now be incorrect. It would need to be updated. That's just how dictionaries work.
And all of that would be unrelated to the fact that there are these four-legged feline creatures that we call cats now, but we could just use different words later on and have totally different, a totally different language about it, right?
Good point.
Yeah.
Now,
the way
if you
that
have
people
an
try
issue,
to use this like third-order thing to talk about the real thing is
it's in the medical
issue
dictionary, though. The word woman is in the medical dictionary.
not
So
as a
can you explain that?
procedure. Did you not hear what I said? We were talking about medical procedures. The reason why medical procedures have to have specific definitions is because people have to know what the procedure is.
Yeah,
I made a very clear
for.
distinction. There's a difference between the procedure and just the way that they're classifying something. Now, if you have an issue with my, like right now, it's just we're just playing a dictionary game. If you have an issue with my definition on its face, that's not just, well, your definition is different than what the dictionary tells me it is. That we can do. But right now, it's just, well, your definition is different than the dictionary. Whoop-de-doo. Do you have what if my definition is better than what the dictionary writes? What if it better represents the whole, right?
Yeah, but it's also in the medical dictionary to identify biological standards for medical procedures.
Okay.
So the thing is, it's in medical dictionaries for medical reasons, and you're just making shit up.
I'm gonna tell you something fun.
That's the difference.
I'm gonna tell you something fun. The word woman is. I'm gonna tell you something real fun, Larry. The word woman's not in the Oxford Medical Dictionary. It's not in there.
The Oxford Concise. I have it open right now. It's in the Concise Medical Dictionary, published by Oxford University Press, for standard biological meanings. So it's in there.
Wait, what's that first word? What's that first word they used? What's that first word? Whoa! What was that first word that you said? You said a word there. What was it? You said a word there. What was that word?
First word
started with an S.
I don't know.
Started with an S.
An S? I don't know what I said.
Standard. What does that mean?
Yeah, there's a medical standard that's agreed upon by medical professionals. That's what it means.
That also means that there are non-standard ways to do things. Standard
people can make shit up all the time.
Oh my
people
God,
can make shit up,
Larry, do you have a non-semantic argument here or no?
Yeah, like do you have like a real life
the semantic argument? Because I'm
really not, friend.
Definition.
Nope.
Really not.
Well, from the very beginning, you said, "Well, my definition is this." Okay,
that's
well,
not semantics, homie. That's not semantics, homie.
That's just some bullshit definition.
That's not semantics. That's how definitions work, Larry.
That's some bullshit.
That is not how definitions work.
That is how definitions work, Larry.
Okay, so how does your
Larry,
definition,
do you want to talk about real things, or do you want to whine about definitions?
Supersede the Oxford Medical Dictionary or anyone else's then?
There is no such thing as superseding in definitions. That's not how they work. You don't know how definitions work, Larry.
So they're just all subjective then? All definitions?
Yeah, fun fact. Language is subjective, my G. You can't have an objective definition of a subjective thing. They're all subjective.
So there's no standard for definitions and words?
Holy shit, dude, you're stupid.
Dude.
Holy shit, bro.
That's the argument you have?
Whoa.
You're just making shit up? You can't reference anything?
There's no way, brother.
My definition is this.
There's no way. There's no shot. There's no shot.
Larry.
My definition is this.
Larry.
There's no shot.
Larry, I'm going to need you to calm down. You're being very hysterical right now, okay? I'm going to need you to rein in those hormones.
My
you got to rein in your hormones.
Guy.
You're being so hysterical. All right, look, I know that you men have your flights of fancy. I know that you men have your flights of fancy and you really struggle with your emotions. Well, Larry, the problem is nobody can defend anything while you're crashing out and whining, all right?
Well, it's all subjective. So
you need to learn to be quiet for a moment while people explain this to you. Do you understand that, Larry?
Okay.
Okay.
Explain your subjective argument.
Can you? Oh, wait, Larry,
Yes,
name me one word that's
all
not subjective.
language.
Give me a singular word.
Larry, go ahead.
No,
Make it circular.
Larry, give me a
Larry,
singular word
Larry,
in
keep
this
it for real.
entire. Larry, I'm gonna have to mute you.
Larry,
I don't know who you think you're gonna talk over, but it's not gonna be me. Name me one word on this earth that is not subjective. I want to hear it. I want to hear you give me the one word on this planet that's not subjective. Go ahead. Can you do it, Larry?
All words have definitions.
That's not what I asked. Answer the question I asked you. Name me a word on this planet Earth that is not subjective.
That is not subjective. Well, all things can be perceived as subjective.
No. Larry,
Dude.
name me a singular word on this planet that is not subjective.
Words listed in the dictionary.
No, stupid. You don't know what
How
subjective
about
means.
that?
You don't know what subjective means. You literally don't.
Larry, if the earth exploded tomorrow and everyone died, would words still have meaning?
No, they would not have meaning, obviously. 'Cause
Yes,
there's no one to
correct.
take meaning in.
Correct. That's because
why.
there's no minds to hold them anymore. That's what subjective means. Is it depends on human minds to hold the concept.
So basically, you
Okay.
don't have an objective argument, and neither do I.
Literally
so it's
all
just it never goes
no.
Holy shit,
Larry,
he's stupid.
Larry, we are using
Whoa.
words to accurately describe the objective things using the best terminology that we have available. We're talking about the real thing. You are whining about definitions.
Available.
Do you want to whine about
The best
definitions, or do you want to talk
available,
about the real thing?
Where do you get definitions for these terminologies?
Holy shit, he is stupid.
How can
Based
you
on
back up
what
your
is
terms?
accurate.
Where do you back up your
Whoa.
terms?
Whoa,
Through
Larry, I didn't know
standards.
you were that dumb.
Larry,
Or you're just making shit up. Do you
Whoa.
get that? There are universal
Whoa.
standards for words.
Whoa,
No,
he's
there
dumb.
aren't.
Why do we have dictionaries? Can you tell me that? Why do we have
Whoa.
dictionaries?
to describe
Whoa.
how the
Everything's just
words are
subjective.
used. I'm afraid this has been explained to you like 4 times.
God damn.
So okay. So what does it say a woman is in a dictionary?
Larry, this is a
So we can use the
masterclass in
word
missing the
accurately.
point right now.
So
This
we can
is
use the
like
word
a
accurately.
masterclass in missing the point right now. Do you understand that a dictionary is
Oh,
not
you're missing the point, all
prescriptive?
right.
I love that. I love the unearned confidence. Like, he literally thinks that the dictionary determines reality, and yet is somehow trying to condescend. Like, that's crazy to me, Larry. Do you think that if I change what's in the dictionary, do you think that the people who write the dictionary are literally changing reality? Do you think if they change the definition of aluminum, that the metal aluminum will become something else, that the physical existence of this can will change, its very nature will be different?
By the way, Mephi, I wanted to just confirm something. The latest edition of the Concise Medical Dictionary in Oxford 2020 doesn't have a definition for the word woman.
Okay, so it's not just me. I was looking at it.
No, I wanted to make sure. It does not. It has womb. That's the only WM word in there is womb. Why'd you lie, Larry?
So
I thought I might have been missing something.
Women? What does it reference the word woman at all?
It doesn't, Larry. It doesn't define the word woman. It's not in there. So why did you lie?
When it uses the word woman, what does it mean?
It didn't define. It doesn't define it, Larry. It doesn't define it. You lied. You literally made something up. Nope, you made something up.
Has the word woman in it.
The English dictionary, Larry. Whoa, this is what this is what I knew.
They cross-reference each other.
Nope. You were wrong. Just admit you were wrong.
So when it uses the word woman, what does it mean?
When you said you had the dictionary up in front of you, didn't you? You said specifically the Concise Medical Dictionary was up in front of you.
It has the word woman in it.
Not defined.
It has the word woman in it.
Not as a definition.
But what does
you
it
lied.
mean?
It doesn't provide a medical definition of it.
Yeah, Larry, you lied.
You know what I bet happened? I bet he asked Brock or something.
No.
I bet he asked
I
AI
said in the
overview.
very beginning.
Probably.
No, I said in the very beginning that there are definitions, and in the Oxford English Dictionary.
No, you didn't say English.
Larry,
no, you did not say English.
No,
you did not say English.
No, I
Larry,
said
did
you
you
read,
ask
and then I said
ChatGPT?
Okay, I'm just gonna mute you real quick, Larry. This is so embarrassing for you. We've already said the Oxford Language Dictionary is a descriptive dictionary. They even define themselves as a descriptive dictionary, which means they don't put any sort of correctness onto definitions. They do not tell you what is or is not correct. So when you say, well, the Oxford definition tells me this, guess what? Doesn't matter what it tells you because it's not prescribing correctness to a word. In fact, Oxford Languages, how do you know what words mean? This is what Oxford has to say. Dictionaries are descriptive, not prescriptive. In other words, when we're defining a word, we combine our understanding of how it is used in the language with an analysis of resources such as the Oxford English corpus, or corpus. This should result in a definition of how a word is actually used rather than how we think it should be used. So, Larry, can you just fucking concede and admit you were fucking wrong?
where does correctness come from then?
Okay, goodbye, Larry. I can't take you seriously. You're not a serious person. Goodbye.
Bruh.
Where does correctness come from? Nowhere in language, Larry. All language is subjective, meaning it cannot be correct or incorrect.
Larry, this is going to blow your mind. None of these words that we're saying mean anything in Chinese. Do you know why that is?
Fuck, dude. People like Larry are so fucking stupid. And they get so
right?
hung up in just doing an appeal to definition fallacy.
I know. I wanted to talk about the actual real concepts that we're using to define the idea, but we couldn't even get there.
They don't want to do that. That would be too much for them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to turn calls off now. So anybody that calls in after this most recent screening, you're not getting through. But the people that are still in the queue, you will get through. Justin from Arkansas, you are on with Jovan and Mephi. Justin, calling in to talk about topic number 6, abortion, all 9 months. Justin, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
38 and he, him.
Okay.
How you guys doing?
Chilling,
Doing all right.
Justin, chilling. Now, Justin, you specifically wanted to talk about personhood being an arbitrary metric. Is that correct?
Well, I was listening to the caller before Larry. I think it was Ben.
Yes.
I was listening to both sides of the argument, and like I know you guys kind of got hung up on the personhood argument, and it just seemed like an arbitrary distinction rather than humanity as the defining line of value.
What's the difference there?
How are you defining humanity? I need to know how you're defining that.
I mean, I can pull up the dictionary, but generally, I guess we're talking about the sum of all of humans in existence in theory.
So you're saying
about swing at that?
Wait, I think I understand. You're just saying that personhood is more arbitrary than just having human DNA.
Yes, being human in general.
Yes, it's still an arbitrary metric of when we grant moral consideration. It's just your arbitrary metric is different than mine. So both of our decisions are arbitrary.
And I'm going to say that humanity is probably not one that human DNA is not one that you want to use, considering that like tumors have human DNA. You know, if you cut off any part of if you lose blood, that's human DNA. Like the existence of human DNA is not necessarily related to what you would call a person, what you would call a human being.
Well, I'm not sure that colloquially you would refer to anything as a human simply based off of the DNA. And that's why I'm kind of hesitant about using the DNA side of it, but being human.
So what do you when you say like
being human?
So what does that mean though? So what does it mean to be human? Like as you're using it? Because I'm going to be honest, it feels like you're using sentience. Because personhood isn't like personhood is just the line at which we consider someone a human being more than just a human, right? So we put personhood at like a pro-life person tends to put personhood at conception. I put personhood at the there's a specific way that I always phrase it, and I can usually use it when my brain is not tired. I usually put the line at like the the capacity for sentience. So like when you have the capacity for sentience, that's where I put that line. So personhood is just like, actually, let me make it really easy for you. When we say personhood, we just mean when someone's granted rights. Personhood just decides when a human is granted rights. So when do you think a human should be granted rights?
Well, I would argue that at conception, based simply off of the fact that every measurement that we go off, you're right. If you're going to dispute on who is human, like we can get into a very technical argument about that. Like, and you're right, that would still be arbitrary. It's like, but the fact that we actually don't know where that cutoff should be means we should probably be about as restrictive as possible. It's like that's the point of.
Yeah, I think 24 weeks into a human's existence is pretty restrictive, right? 24 weeks is not a long time.
Well, I mean, it's pretty long.
Not when you have like another, because here's the thing. When we talk about personhood, we're talking in relation to abortion. We're talking about the rights of one being versus another. Now, I'm going to look at these two beings, right? You have a pregnant person and not in a fetus. And people are trying to determine, okay, which of these rights are more important? Well, if we're saying they're both human, so they both get human rights, I have to be looking at something else to determine whose rights are going to supersede somebody else's. Next, I'm going to start looking at not if they're a human being, but I'm going to start looking at some other thing. And what I'm going to look at is, okay, which of these things has an experience? The pregnant person walks around, talks, makes memories, feels pain, can feel just in general. Their sense organs are linked up to their brain. Like they have all of these things that make them an individual. The fetus has none of this. So like, I'm always going to prioritize the pregnant person over the fetus like every day of the week.
I mean, you can make an effectiveness argument, which I mean, I can understand that point. Like,
why is it?
But at the end of the day, go ahead.
Yeah, why is it that you think that like at conception would be like a single cell zygote, right? So what is it about that single cell zygote that is making it equivalent to a fully grown human person in your mind? What is the attributes of it?
Well, I think it's the logical progression. So if you start with the actual dividing line that we're referring to, in this case, we're talking 9 months. We're talking the separation between you are born and you are ready to come out, but not yet born. Right. And I see no moral distinction between those two situations.
I wouldn't see it. Wait. You're talking about a moral distinction between somebody like a fetus. I was half listening, so I'm trying to catch up. I dissociated for a second there. You were talking about the moral distinction between a fetus that's just about to be born versus a fetus versus a baby that was just born.
Correct.
Yeah, I'd say in moral consideration, there's almost zero difference between these two beings functionally. But one of them is. Oh, go ahead, Mephi.
Yeah,
if you're asking something,
Justin. Yeah, no. What I was asking you, Justin, is what is the difference between the single cell zygote, or what is the thing that is the same between the single cell zygote and the about to be born, the just born, the fully grown? What is it about all three of, or all of those things that is making them equal of consideration to you? Like, what is the common attribute that the single cell zygote has with the 9-month born or about to be born baby?
Well, humanity, along with development, along with potential for life.
Well, it doesn't have development, and potential isn't really like a good argument. You either value the thing as what it is or you don't. Like, does it, and humanity, what does that mean exactly? Because if it's not human DNA,
I would disagree with
then
that last
what
point.
is humanity?
Well,
Okay, so which point would you like to address first?
Well, I want to know what it is that you're defining as humanity.
So when I'm looking at humanity, I'm looking at the physical being, the human, the from forelegs, skin, sexual reproduction as a species.
Well, a single cell zygote doesn't have those things.
Okay, hold on. Because,
So
like I said, when I'm saying humanity, you said what is humanity? Like I'm saying, it is an amalgamation of the physical form along with the life that is entailed, which involves growth, adaptation, development, passing on to the next generation. Like all of this is entailed in what it means to be humanity. Like,
well, if you're
to
talking
be
about
human, it's
potential
like
here,
there may be
then there's no
individuals
reason.
who.
Well, the problem is if you're
Sorry, go
talking
ahead.
about potential here, then there's no reason that you would stop at a zygote, right? Every sperm has the potential to merge with an egg and become a human, right? Every egg or every single egg has potential to become human, and it might not, right? Like taking the potential argument to its logical conclusion would mean turning like all humanity into breeding factories, and I'm pretty sure that's not what you're arguing for, right?
No,
So
I've never understood that jump in logic.
Well, because it's about potential, is what you're saying, right? A zygote has humanity because it has the potential to do all the things that a human does, right? So does a sperm.
Yes and no, but you're using it in different ways in that. So, as an example, I can look at a hammer and go, this has the potential to build a house, to hammer a nail specifically. And you're saying, well, so does the steel that's underground. It's like, well, yeah, you could turn it into this thing, but it's not that thing. It doesn't already have that potential within it. It could be changed to then have that potential. That is true.
Yeah, that's the argument that you're making, though, right? Like the zygote would be the ore in this metaphor, would be the iron ore underground in this metaphor, because it has the potential to be a
the
hammer.
sperm would be. No, the sperm would be. Like the zygote, it already is a hammer. Like it already has everything within itself. It needs resources, just like we all need resources to continue to survive.
You're talking about something that has the potential to have this humanity that you're talking about. It's not something that already has the humanity. So by the thing reaching its final form, it's gaining its humanity, right? That's the hammer, right? The thing that is unformed, that is not that yet, that would be the ore.
Except that if we're making the cutoff where you're making the cutoff here, it's like then in reality, it's not really human by that definition until it's at breeding age. Because it doesn't actually have all these capabilities yet. It may develop them if you give them enough resources, but it doesn't currently have them. But it does have the potential within it to grow to that point.
But why should I care about potential? I like to treat things as they are, not as they will be. Like, I'm not going to give something rights based on what it could be. I'm going to give it rights based on the attributes and properties it has currently.
I'm not sure I would agree with that.
Can you name me anything other than what we're like? Give me another example of something we give rights to based off what it will be.
Well, rights specifically, that's a different topic, but value itself, actually having intrinsic value, like if you're just talking about the rights thing.
We're talking about personhood and legal rights, right? We're talking about at what point do you need to start taking action about this thing based on its potential?
Yeah, moral consideration and value are going to be vastly different. Like, I believe in my heart of hearts that probably humans should have some semblance of moral consideration more than like most animals, because I'm human. So that's like simply a human essentialist view. Probably we should strive for human flourishing over animals if we need to. But I also know that I would kill like 20 people to protect a dog if it was my dog. So like value and moral consideration are like vastly different.
Yeah, if you're an odd argument.
Well, just pointing it out.
Are you?
I had to change my shorts.
Are you making this from like? Yeah, are you making this from like a religious standpoint here? Are you talking about like, do you think that there is a soul that is breathed into the fetus at some point?
Well, I believe there is a soul, like, but from a legal standpoint, like that's not really relevant. You know, there are a number of things that I think should be legal that are entirely unethical and immoral.
Well, if we want to talk about the legal argument, then I'm going to go to what is causing the most harm based on the things that we can actually measure, right? Like the fact is, like, we can measure sentience in a brain at a certain point. We can measure negative health outcomes to the people who are gestating those fetuses. We can measure health outcomes for the fetuses and the babies themselves, right? But none of that is going to be something that gets you to personhood at conception. What we're talking about is the moral argument that you're trying to base this on.
I think from the okay, so are we talking the legal argument or are we talking the moral argument?
We're talking the moral argument.
We're jumping back and forth here. Okay. So for the moral argument, I would argue that if we are making the distinction on personhood, like you can make the argument that yes, my personal definition of personhood and the way I'm defining it is the right one across the board. If you could measure morality, it is the absolute truth. I don't think you can actually make that argument. If you're simply making the argument of, I believe this should be the argument for personhood, right? Okay, but definitions of personhood change.
I'm trying to get to the core of where your moral consideration for this thing is coming from, right? What is it that is happening in the depths of your brain that is getting you to say, this zygote has value, this sperm does not?
Like I said, it already has everything within it if you provide it the necessary resources of energy. It already has within it. I'm sorry?
But so does a sperm.
No, you actually have to put it with a egg in order for it to have the potential to grow beyond.
Yeah, and you have to put the zygote with nutrients, and you have to put the zygote with nutrients, right? It has to implant also. It has to do that first as well, right? There's always a potential when it comes to potential, you can always take that back further. And there's going to be no real point that you can no real point to stop that that's not pretty much just arbitrary. So the question is, what is the actual attribute that is making you stop there?
Because at that point, it has everything it requires to actually grow into a human.
Well, that's the thing, is somebody has to continue to provide that to it.
Yes, just like every human.
A lot of people provide for themselves, but that's beside the point, right? The potential argument, right? The sperm could have everything that it needs to grow into a full human if somebody just provides it with the egg to swim at, right? The fertilized zygote that doesn't implant could have things if you were to like take the time and care to extract it and put it onto something. Or the potential argument also goes into like, well, then you're talking about people that would hypothetically exist as well, right? Like, oh, a person could exist if we were to set up breeding camps that wouldn't have existed otherwise. Is it wrong to deny that person life? At what point do they become a person worthy of moral consideration? Why does the ingredients for that person existing not then justify forcing their existence to happen? Because a zygote is an ingredient of a person, but to give it moral consideration of a person when it doesn't have any of the attributes that are making you consider something morally a person, just based on potential, is kind of silly. It's calling an avocado pit an avocado tree.
Justin, did you hear my
Wait, do avocados grow on trees?
Of all the things I know, how avocados grow is not one of them. Justin, did you hear the brain thought experiment I gave to the caller that the other caller that was talking on abortion? You said you heard?
No, I did not.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a thought experiment so we can test the personhood angle here. Just roll with me. Let's say it's the future in sci-fi. We're in a Black Mirror sci-fi world. Okay. And I'm able to take your consciousness, so your memories, your thoughts, all of these abstract things that sort of live within our brain, the things that make us who we are. And I'm able to take that out of your body and slap it in a robot. I'm then able to take a robot, like circuitry, like a robot brain, and slap it into your brain. Your brain is just running off code. It is no free will, none of that. You, in the robot body, still have free will. You still have emotions, all these other things. Based on your framework of what is and is not a human that deserves rights, I could kill that robot you whenever I want, but I can't kill the body that has the circuit, that has the like robot programming in it. That would be morally wrong. So square this for me.
I'm not sure that either will be fully human at that point. As far as rights, is like question, at that point you're talking a legal question, not a moral question.
No, it is a moral question, right? We're trying to figure out which attribute you're actually giving the moral consideration to. Is it the you, the mind of you that is present in this metal machine, or is it the physical body cells of you that are being piloted by Microsoft Sam?
Well, I mean, my answer would obviously be that they would both have rights. So I'm not sure that you could make a distinction between them. Like, if you're talking that the body just simply dies at that point and the consciousness moves on, it's like, yeah, you're not human anymore. It's like, we're probably still going to extend you rights. I mean, there's a good conversation for AI someday having
the question is, on what basis? Right. On what basis are you extending rights to that robot, though?
Practicality.
Practicality? I don't think that's
yes.
it,
I mean, when we're talking about rights, we're not talking about moral framework.
Justin, I don't think that's how you're doing it, right? Because if you're just talking about a robot that your mind is in, I don't think that you're giving it rights because that's the practical thing to do. I think that it has another attribute that you're considering when you think about the morality of it.
Well, but the problem is I'm seeing the morality of both of them, and I'm seeing the value of both of them in this scenario, assuming that the brain, the whole personality,
what value does the robot mind in your body have? It's
the essentially robot mind has no value, but the body that it's within still has value.
Why?
Just like the robot body that your personality is in doesn't have any intrinsic value either. The personality that is you would. Like,
yes.
This still.
Justin, you're right there.
You just figured it out. You just figured it out.
Yes. The personality has the value, right? So why does the meat?
No, I literally said the personality and the body both have value.
Yeah, but why would the personality have value distinct from the body?
If you can never go back in your body, let's say you can like physically never go back in your body, why would your body still have value at that point?
Well, just in the same way that we still have some value even for a dead body. Like, we don't allow mutilation of a corpse simply because out of pleasure. Like there is still some moral consideration that we give even to a dead body. Like in this scenario, you're literally making the argument that yes, you are. Go ahead.
We don't morally consider it a person, right? Nobody says that you've murdered someone if you accidentally dig up a grave at a construction site.
Well, yes, I would agree, but that's not really relevant to the point that's at hand.
It is relevant because we're talking about giving a person their personhood rights. We're talking about giving a person rights. At what point it has the highest level of moral consideration that we're talking about here, right? You can give something less moral consideration. You can give it a lesser value, and I'd argue that that's what we do with things like bodies or even like our pets, probably. Or, if a person assigns value to like their frozen swimmers based on potential, sure. But we're talking about personhood, right? And you said that you would think that the robot with your personality in it would still have rights. If the body with Microsoft Sam in it was just destroyed, right? It fell down into a pit of lava, it's gone. Okay? Do you think that robot body with your personality in it, with your mind in it, does it still have rights?
Well, yes, but only from a religious point of view. Insofar as there is a soul. But if we're talking rational arguments, we can't really assume a soul
in this instance, though.
In this scenario, we're assuming that soul, in this case, would probably be that personality that's been downloaded into the robot. In theory, but that's theory. That's only assuming that a soul actually exists.
I gotta I think we do got to cut it here just because we're running low on time for the show, and we have thought experimented ourselves into it's going to be a hike to get back. But if you want to call again on a different day to pick this back up, we can. We're running out of time for the show, so I do got to move on.
Yeah.
All
right, Justin. Thanks for calling.
I would argue that the thought experiment probably would, I would say you could probably replace putting the personality into the robot with putting a soul into the robot, and it would be a conundrum for the religious folks.
It would depend because, I wish most religious people would understand that what they think is a soul is just sentience.
Yeah.
When you're brain dead, they'll be like, yeah, their soul has departed. It's just their body here. It's like, yes, you just view sentience as a soul. That's the whole
And then
difference.
You get them to Phineas Gage and Phineas Gaging someone, and that's a whole other can of worms. What happens to the soul then?
Let's bring up this last call. Faith with an office hours call. Faith from Washington. Faith, age and pronouns, if you will, friend.
24 and no 25. Why am I getting my own age wrong? You'll have to forgive me. And she, her pronouns are she's here if you feel like spicing things up. And should I go on to say what I'm calling about, or
yeah, you can drop your question for us.
Yeah, I had a birthday a few like a month or two ago. I don't want to be too specific, but I keep on calling myself 28.
Alrighty. Anywho, I will note what started the whole thing. As I was doing research before this call while I was in the hold, I found out one of the papers, the one that started all this, got retracted. So this is probably going to be a fair bit shorter. My apologies, but this is the whole point of trial by fire, I suppose. Anyway, I found some scientific papers discussing two kind of brands of scientific articles. One discussing how brains aren't inherent, there is technically sex characteristics, but those are mostly down to size, or at least a lot of the big name ones. And another is that, I'll actually finish explaining the ramifications of the first one before explaining the other. My apologies, this is not the most coordinated argument. But suffice to say, if brains are not terribly sexed, then the idea of intersexuality of the brain is, as far as I can tell, probably not the best explanation for gender dysphoria. As well, the differences seem. Oh, you have something to say?
No, you keep going.
That's all right. But with that kind of.
Oop,
Did
Faith?
we lose you?
Hello, Faith.
Somehow I muted myself. My apologies.
No worries.
My apologies. Where was I before I accidentally muted myself?
Sexed brains not being the best idea for the basis of gender dysphoria.
Yes. With that, assuming that those articles I found were of any merit, that raises the question of what is a better way. And admittedly, the paper that had proposed a different idea got retracted, so I cannot have that. There were some references there that, as far as I can tell, have not been retracted, specifically referring to regions of the brain tied with self-congruence, and those being notably smaller or less developed in trans people's brains. I can give you all these articles I'm citing shortly.
Yeah,
I'll give them out
actually,
a bit list. Love them. Alrighty. For the
I'll just
okay.
having read, I've read quite a few of these. I just don't think the science is there to hedge our bets on it. And I also think it leads us to a dangerous path, because it should, like, my fear is somebody's going to go, well, it's the same with if we were to find a mythical gay gene. Now they're going to say, see, it is something wrong with you and we should be able to fix that. Which is,
Right.
Yeah,
like,
one of the articles
neuroscience
will be
sorry, the brain is just it is probably the most complicated thing it's definitely the most complicated thing about the human body, right? There are so many things that we only have like surface level understanding of about the brain. Like, the learning about neuroscience is learning just how much we don't know, and how much of what we do know is having to sort of look at the final order phenomenon that is coming out in the in people and in behaviors and in the things that we report, right? We can't point to a cluster of neurons or a configuration of neurons that's going to tell you whether or not you like broccoli, right? The same thing is going to go for so many different aspects of personality and what you prefer, and the way that your brain is interacting with the world around you, right? What we know about gender dysphoria and gender identity, most of that is going to be coming from the way that we study the neurological and psychological construct that is within the human brain, right? It's something that you're not like detecting by doing a brain scan. It's something that you're detecting by symptoms. It's something that you're detecting by what the person is reporting. This is how we study the phenomenon of gender dysphoria and gender incongruence. And then from there, we can also start to do controlled experiments and studying these things and determine stuff about like how gender identity can be interacting in different ways with different aspects of what we would call gender and different aspects of what we would call sex, right? Like, you see an incredibly diverse range of trans experiences, people who have stronger body dysphoria, but lower. Are you getting that echo? Okay, that might just be me. But there are people who have stronger body dysphoria, and people who have stronger social dysphoria, and people who have stronger of both or neither, right? You have cis people getting versions of both, right? These are but we're not studying those things by, isolating a cluster of neurons and saying, hey, this is or saying this part of the brain is enlarged and is doing this. Although I haven't heard of those studies you're talking about a smaller like congruence bit there. I would be interested in reading those. Really, the thing to do is like when we're looking at these stable, or when we're looking at these neurological and psychological phenomenon, the thing to do is to start with what we can know and then work into what we don't know, right? And that's basically how we do it with most things in psychology.
Alrighty, I can give you those article names.
Sorry, I don't know if that
quick.
answers your question. I kind of went off a bit there.
Yeah, not quite, but it is relatively close. Only have a couple things. I'll give you those article names. So first one is Structural Connections in the Brain in Relation to Gender Identity and Sexual Orientation. Sarah M. Burke is the first author on that name to help identify. Let's see here. That was the one that was retracted and thus not. The other one is in an article in Cerebral Cortex, Testosterone Effect on the Brain of Transgender Men.
Yes.
Hormones, that one specifically
hormones definitely do play a role.
Yeah, that
sure.
was saying the effects of hormones impacting regions and strengthening regions known with self-congruence. So evidence that, hey, here's how HRT works and is effective. So,
okay.
But that's, and then I think the last one that is, two more articles. These ones are about the sexing of brains in particular. Potential reporting bias in neuroimaging studies of sex differences. That one is more focusing on the machine learning models done for brain analysis as compared to effects of different cranial volume correlation methods on univariate sex differences in gray matter volume and multivariate sex prediction, which is a bit more.
Yeah, isn't that's the one where you like I'm pretty sure that's the one where the only way to like measure these things and to test for them is literally by dissecting dead people.
Right. And thus
I'm pretty sure that's
you cannot get to.
Yeah, that's why there's so little. That's why there's so little research on it.
That makes sense.
Could go all Hannibal Lecter on them.
Yikes.
Forgive me. That was a little funny. But yeah, that does make sense, and why I'm making this call instead of just looking at the articles and going, I'll incorporate this into my belief system. I think any idea that's worth examining needs to be tried by fire. And the best way to do that is just debate, make it, and have someone try to shoot it down. I think you've made a pretty good case for not accepting these, or at least in isolation, as they seem to be
I don't
rather
necessarily not accept the idea of a sexed brain. I just I haven't seen enough data on it to be conclusive.
Yeah, it's for me. It's more the idea of that brains aren't inherently sexed, and thus.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, like I remember there was a thing about like gray matter, white matter distribution differences or like percentages between sexes, and that ended up turning out to be more hormone influenced and more of like a overlapping bell curves thing with human sexual dimorphism that kind of just mirrors like the overall way that humans tend to overlap within our human sexual dimorphism, and couldn't be conclusive in any statistically significant way.
Well, I wager that pretty much everything that isn't like set in bone is usually affected by hormones, as those as far as I'm aware, HRT effects by like the exact positioning, and that usually depends on when. I know that I've not had any major bone shifts in my bone structure on HRT, but
yeah, fun fact.
That's why I said
definitely if you starting hormones like before puberty, or like replacing endogenous puberty with exogenous hormones is definitely going to affect the way that certain plates fuse. But also later in life, it is going to affect it's a much slower effect, but it is going to affect things like bone density, as your bone marrow is affected by hormones, right?
Because that is not a buildup, but rather where the buildup occurs, much like a hair follicle.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware. And I know that most things are rather hormone dependent because testosterone and estrogen basically directly affect gene expression by controlling what genes are expressed rather than,
Oh, yeah.
doing some other. But so I wager most things are just entirely hormone dependent, especially in the brain, which is, rather constantly evolving and changing and growing.
If you want a horrible case study on how gene expression or how hormones work with gene expression, I used to look exactly like my dad, and now I look exactly like my mom. It is inescapable.
Not sure if I fit that, but that's complicated. Anywho, let's see. Yeah, I think I'll be taking these a bit more with a grain of salt. Thanks for your input.
Yeah, I mean, and take what I've said with a grain of salt too. Like, my education is more in psychology and social work and less in like neurology and neuroscience. I have like some passing, like I've taken some classes, but nothing crazy in depth. So, definitely I want to do some more reading on this. And yeah, I definitely encourage you to do some more reading. Call me, call Jovan, talk about it some more.
Yeah, I'm a mathematician, so you've got definitely more experience here than me.
All right, Faith. Well, thank you so much for calling in, friend.
And thank you so much for answering and being so cordial.
Yep. You have a great rest of your day.
You too.
All right, squad. That was show today. We actually got calls today. God bless. I hope you guys have had fun. Mephi, I hope you've had fun.
I've had a great time.
We are going to move to the post show. So if you are a sub on Twitch or a member on YouTube, you do have access to our members only Discord, where we'll be doing a 20 to 30 minute post show, which is just going to be us chilling and chatting and talking about the calls and doing all that in the Discord. So if you'd like to come to the post show, mods can post a link to the Discord and chat. I'm doing some revamping. This VOD is going to be available immediately after the VOD ends. My VOD channel is going to become my video essay channel for the rest of forever. So that's where all my video essays are going to be posted. I might even re-upload them over to that channel as like past uploads, but VOD channel is going to become video essay channel. VODs will just be posted on the main channel as soon as the stream is done. No, got to be subbed for anything for that. So yeah, we're going to go move over to the post show. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. It has been real. It has been fun. It's even been real fun, chat. So we will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Alrighty. Oh, can you still hear me?